Wow, there is nothing to watch these days. Nothing. Everything sucks. I mean, look at this. Absolutely nothing. Nothing at all. No enjoyment to be found in any of these. What's this? A video ranking the Final Fantasy 15 bosses just after the game came out? Wow, and only that many views? Well, I better check it out and support some more creators.
Hey, pretty boy.
Yes, that's me. I'm the pretty boy. How you doing? What can I say? Pretty lady, amazing spectacle.
Oh, you know, this guy is going places. Having such good opinions and consistent love for women who will destroy him. I wonder where he is now. Maybe he learned to stop talking slowly to try to enunciate every single goddamn f***ing word. Holy f*** did he used to talk slow. Lost Soul Aside is a video game. Final Fantasy 15 is also a video game, part of the long-running series where they called it Final because the first one was meant to be the last one. What in God's name does lightning return?
And you think I'm gonna buy that?
This is the 15th mainline Final Fantasy game, released in November of 2016 and was a big departure of the series because it's got loads of men.
Started throbbing.
We're after a messy development, trying to be targeted towards newcomers with this screen you see every time you open it, going, look, it's okay. You don't have to play the other 14 games to understand this one's lore. It also has cup noodles.
Care for cup noodles?
The ultimate flavor experience.
There is so much to this. You have a game that has all the Final Fantasy tropes, but then modern day elements like mobile phone, car, petrol tanks, and it is all set in America's South because, I mean, where else do they talk like this?
Still one mean mutt about.
Thank you for locating my long-lost son.
It follows a road trip of the prince with... That started out as a project by that guy before being moved on to a new director who then worked with what he was given and to maximize the reach. You know, to get gamers from every walks of life to play this game, you have CGI movie that is important to the lore, an anime that is important to the lore, an exclusive demo that is a tiny bit important to the lore, a pixel art game that is important to the lore.
I get it!
And it was a big push away from turn-based combat to get more non-JRPG fans to join in, while still keeping what makes Final Fantasy do so well, hyper-realistic cutscenes with hot people.
Hey, pretty boy.
And then it kept getting updates. Oh, you want to drive off-road? Well, here you go. You want multiplayer? You want a PC port with a mod menu inbuilt into the game? You want Assassin's Creed? No, you can't play that one anymore. And then DLC to fix up the story, and just when it was getting good, the last ones get cancelled. It was such a mess from start to end, where it really divided fans and me as my first ever Final Fantasy game. It was pretty good. So 15 stars Noctis, who was getting married to a white girl for political reasons, and so begins the 20-hour road trip with his bros. It features an open world where you drive around in your car, well, get escorted around because you can't even veer off the road at launch, so you have to let your butler drive as you listen to the radio. He is a prince and is to be wed to Luna Freya as a sign of goodwill, where you have this empire wanting to take over the world, but when they reach Noctis' home kingdom of Lucis, they were like, okay, if you marry Luna for some reason, we won't invade you. No, this is not an evil plot. And thus begins the bachelor party. Noctis leaves to go to that wedding, his final days as a single guy.
If y'all want to fix her up before you roll out, let me
Holy
know.
moly! A lot of the game is about the bros, taking pictures with them, eating food with them, camping with them, until the later half removes all of that and becomes linear. You have Noctis, the prince, who is dismissive of his role as the next in line, Ignis, his mum, who does everything for him like a British butler, Gladio, his dude bro bodyguard, and Prompto, the best puppy you could ask for.
He's so adorable.
It's separated into chapters where you then got the main quest, but you also got side quests, which aren't usually that riveting, usually to fetch something or kill some beast, and combat that is, well, what I can only describe as, oh boy, They really didn't want to make the game challenging. It is an action game, but you can hold the circle button to constantly attack. You don't have to mash any buttons, and holding square as long as you have mana will phase Noctis, making the enemy's attacks miss. Yeah, they really felt worried that turn-based fans were gonna have difficulty with the real-time combat, so made it as easy as possible to pick up. Just 2 buttons you gotta hold down and you'll be good. You do have combos and you can equip up to 4 weapons at a time and switch between them, with the main gimmick for Noctis being a warp strike, where you can throw your sword and teleport to it, using it to get out of combat and refill mana, but also to lunge in, where the further you start the launch, the more bonus damage you do. It also helps to run in the overworld, because this open world has a stamina bar. For a game in 2016, it really does feel like they were trying their hardest to make an open world game before the conventions of modern open world crept into the gamer's sphere. Like, I'm sure there's a reason they wanted to make it so you just can't keep running anywhere because you will get tired, you know? It's realistic! And because this is a fantasy game, you do get spells, but not the traditional kind, where you can suck up these 3 elements in the wild before you have to then combine them into flasks, and then you can equip them to nuke the enemy.
See you in hell!
You're on fire today!
And yeah, with the open world, you have things like the day and night cycle. You have to rest to bank your experience every night. Yeah, you can only level up when you rest, and yeah, you can eat then to get buffs for a bit with hyper-realistic 2016 food models. And the night, which is where crazier demons spawn. Like, they will tell you, bro, don't you dare drive us out of the night, are you crazy? You might come across other drivers using high beams, since no one cares about other people when driving. I was literally sitting in a parked car waiting for food at night, and some jackass parked behind me with his high beams on. Oh no, you are crazy! Going through this game, it's just crazy with how 9 years ago, a lot of unique optional stuff would be there in the world, like unique dialogue for certain situations or scenarios. Every side quest you do, the boys will quip after it specifically talking about that side quest. Like, this lady wants you to catch some frogs, they will go, wow, that's a pretty crazy frog lady. Replaying through this, I forgot it was from 2016 with how many things they were putting in to make the world feel fleshed out. And then it also feels like a 2016 game with how, of course, the X button is to pick up items and jump. Yay! I love jumping up and down instead of picking up this healing item. Speaking of with the healing items, you can press R2 in the combat and it will pause it, letting you pick which items to use. And then they even did add a wait time mode, where if you so wanted, the game could actually be turn-based. It's nothing like Final Fantasy VII Remake's a better version, but they did try to please both sides of fans, trying to stay on brand of Final Fantasy and appealing to newcomers who maybe wanted that super open world, you know, where it's gotta load in everything every single time. Oh, come on, PS5, I thought you were good with the loading thing. But regardless, this game still holds up today in so many aspects, despite other aspects really missing. And it changed how Square Enix operates as a company, JRPGs as a whole, and how they'll try to appeal to the mass market to get those sales. And to me, on a personal level, I would not be who I am today if not for this game. Which is to say, a funny guy. Okay, so you know it's a messy development when it has its own development article on Wikipedia. And I have to stress, my history with the game, I was a newcomer. I never played Final Fantasy before. I had never played a big JRPG before. In fact, the only thing I played was Pokemon during all those years. I was the most dude bro gamer you could think of, or licensed gamer, or playing lawyer games on the side person ever. And yet, one person in uni mentioned this game, and then I looked it up and saw this specific video. This scene burnt into my mind. Holy moly, I exclaimed. I want whatever this is. And so from that point on, I followed the development and all the updates. But this game started way back, all the way with the Girl Boss games. Yes, there were 3 games planned for the Fabula Nova Crystallis series. 3 that would share a lore, you know, not be super connected like, say, Lightning wouldn't suddenly just pop up and meet Noctis. Oh.
I gotta be dreaming.
But the gods and lore like Etro bring present or mentioned throughout these 3 games. And this one was conceptualized by Tetsuya Nomura, you know, the guy who made Donald Duck the strongest character in Final Fantasy. Was Final Fantasy Versus 13. Around 2006 he thought of the idea. In 2011 they started working on it. It seems to be taking quite a while. And when Square Enix wants money, they want that product out. And maybe because it was taking so long, and maybe to Square Enix the final straw was, according to Wikipedia, Nomura, after watching the 2012 film Les Miserables, said he wanted to turn Final Fantasy Versus 13 into a musical, which was vetoed by the higher-ups. A musical Final Fantasy? What the fuck? That actually sounds pretty cool. So Hajime Tabata, the guy who made portable Final Fantasy games, was tasked with bringing the 20% that was made of this game to completion on a brand new engine, as Versus 13 was previously being made on Crystal Tools, the notoriously difficult one that had FF13 struggling and FF14 1.0, well, needing to be redone. Literally. And so he would transition the process in the game into this new venture on the new Luminous engine, and he even boldly said to the higher-ups, it's gonna sell 6 million units. It sold 6 million units at launch. You think you're pretty funny, huh? And all this was happening, the changing of the name, the big reshuffle. This was actually the first thing I heard about the game after being told by that friend in uni to check out this sick trailer from E3 2013. And as a resident lover of
Man,
E3...
it's looking tasty there, and I can't believe they named a game after my favorite weekend activity.
Yes, oh boy, I love staying up late to watch gaming news, even though I have work in the morning where I drive 1 hour in traffic so I have to blast anime openings to piss everyone else off because I hate my job!
Oh boy, 3 a.m.
And seeing this is what hooked me onto Final Fantasy. And oh yeah, I don't think they were just content with the rebrand, because with this, they would announce it was gonna be a cinematic universe. You perked up when you heard that. As due to the scale of the story, and Tabata wanting it to be one game, other aspects were split into media to reach more capitalism. You know, a movie and anime. Oh my god, it's Final Fantasy Aaron Paul.
Yes,
I'll go into the other media in depth in a bit, but oh my goodness, they were pumping out these releases. You had the hyper-real CGI Kingsglaive movie that takes place during the start of the game and shows very key important lore that it's like, oh, this is what's happening to Prince Noctis' hometown while he's road tripping with the boys. Then you got Brotherhood, a short OVA anime released. Yes, I know OVA anime saying it's redundant. Thankfully for free on YouTube, where it would show each character's backstories with Noctis, how the four became friends with each other. You know, very key lore to understanding their depth for the game. But then you had other stuff like an exclusive VR game because, you know, VR was an emerging market and a gacha game that raked in. Oh, let me check.
Oh my goodness!
I mean, this was the type of ads you had for the game.
Now this is gonna be fun.
Oh my goodness, is she from the meme? Is from this game? Wow, thanks Benitez, good to know. And then another mobile game which was porting the entirety of 15 into this. Yep, the whole game, looking like this, for your mobile phones. Do you not realize people have mobile phones?
Capturing our most prominent features.
Prominent features?
And so the trailers and news kept coming out. You would have trailers with hyper-real CGI cutscenes, showing things that wouldn't even be in the game until patches added them back in. Then you got marketing things with remix songs where the bros are saving real-life kids from demons, to tech demos and gameplay showing, yes, okay, keep quiet, this is a real game, it's coming out, please believe us. And man, I must have watched this trailer back then like 190,000 times. Wow, 9,000 other people watched it too. Oh, okay. Because know this about me. I grew up with licensed games. I played the lawyer game every year. Pokemon 2. A lot of those dude bro games, you know, my gaming knowledge was very limited in the 2000s and 2010s. I didn't know I'd play many Japanese games until the Vita and PlayStation 4. Like, even though I love the PS3 now, back then, all I was playing was the Subway games. Every night on school nights, I would play FIFA Career Mode. I knew of hyper-realistic games, but I didn't know anime hyper-realistic games that could look exactly how I wanted my hair to be. And when I try, no, you are not seeing those photos. But it blew me away that a game could look this realistic and look anime. And so I can't even begin to tell you how unbelievably hyped I was for this game. I wasn't fully into anime things until uni, and this came out during my second year, which was peak timing for me. And wow, okay, they're making it easy to get into. I don't have that much experience with turn-based combat. It was just Pokemon. So this was easy to grasp. And seeing all the trailers, I really could not believe such a cool anime game was going to be in my hands, with huge creatures, music this heavenly, and characters looking like fashion kings and queens. And man, they were going hard with the marketing. When do you ever see songs like this in JRPG trailers now? And I was so swept up in the hype that I pre-ordered the game. I know pre-ordering is bad now, but I was swept up in the hype. I even found all forum comments I left on it. And because there were so many versions to buy, and I actually really wanted the Ultimate Collector's Edition with that giant-ass Noctis statue, and in Australia, back then you only had 2 real stores for game releases, EB Games, which is our GameStop, and JB Hi-Fi that does more electronic stuff like TVs, so it was kinda nuts that for Australia, they only allocated for the Ultimate Edition 80 units for the whole country. And yep, EB Games sold out in seconds. So I went to JB's site, it crashed, and then I refreshed, and then it was sold out. And I remember being so angry on Twitter and finding other people who were saying, oh, okay, you know, maybe it's the staff. They were secretly buying it, so we couldn't get it. And then I was angrily writing to JB, how could you do this? And so I begrudgingly settled for the deluxe edition at EB Games. Here's my email if you want proof. I was making sure I wanted those bonus codes because games are so expensive here. So when I was actually willing to pay more money for a game that I fell into because of the hype cycle, I wanted my money's worth. It was so crazy thinking back to how I just really wanted a Final Fantasy figurine. And now I can buy one whenever I want. And the month after that, you then had the big announcement that 15 would be delayed from its September release to November of that year. Oh my god, bro, more months of waiting! And oh, you better believe they were rushing to get a day one patch too. And so it released. And I can't stress how big of a launch this was. Even a news site that I frequented was crashing with the FF15 news. But before we get to the game, we gotta get to important lore items that they released beforehand that you were meant to engage with before you got your hands on the disc. You know, CGI Aaron Paul. I guess one good thing about this shiny metal case deluxe edition that I'm very fond of were under all the trees that they killed, they were telling me about a
season pass.
It included a copy of Kingsglaive, the movie that set in motion Final Fantasy 15 story, where it is so important that the full game reuses the CGI from the movie. It's sprinkled in throughout the first half of the story with generic music over the top because they couldn't use the licensed movie music and dialogue. Yep, it's kind of hilarious. It was that important that they had to make sure fans knew about it. But now it's actually free to watch on YouTube if you're in America. A good thing I got the Blu-ray, or I might have had to go and get scurvy. So the world of Eos has this empire on one side that is invading everyone else, including the kingdom of Lucis, who use the magic of a big crystal to construct a wall, protecting the city as a last hope. And then you get a flashback to the current Lucian king, Regis, with his son Noctis both in Tenebrae, visiting the oracle Lunafreya. But the Empire Niflheim attack, killing Lunafreya's mother, and Regis runs off, abandoning Luna's brother Ravus. Luna then, I don't know, got tired from running and just lets go. Where 12 years later we see that Ravus, Luna's brother, has now joined Niflheim because, you know, these guys got better healthcare, blaming Regis for abandoning him and his people. As we got the Kingsglaive that are an army in Lucis protecting the Lucian borders from attack. Girl, taking off the hood would help you use magic more. So yeah, the actors are well known, but not super omega Hollywood stars, but you know, fairly well known, so I guess they gotta show off the expensive actors' faces whenever they can. And the movie stars Nyx Ulrich, who keeps trying to be a hero and save his friend Libertus, who got his leg crushed.
The magic hero. You got people waiting for you back home.
I'm worth the wait.
And yes, the movie is full of lines like this, that 2010s humor and quips, which is kind of nostalgic in a way, because on the other hand, oh my goodness, the CGI is still insane! I'm always utterly blown away by Square Enix's CGI team. How do they do it? Making these characters look so damn hard! So Regis can lend his crystal power out to his people, allowing them to warp by throwing their weapons and teleporting to it. And the movie showcases this idea a lot more in depth than 15, like using it to jump further, to save yourself from hard landings. They actually make it look really fun. And the movie is fairly fast-paced, which was surprising, but I guess they really had so many story segments from 15 that they had to cram in here.
We are at risk nonetheless, Your Majesty. We cannot know when they will strike again.
It's unfair.
So the Kingsglaive are immigrants from other areas and face some hostility from the Insomnia capital residents, with some of the Kingsglaive are even wondering why are they fighting for this king?
Do yourself a favour. Take a look around.
Now the Chancellor of Niflheim, Ardyn Izunia, honestly, 10 out of 10, as you're gonna eventually see by the end of this long video, that for a peace deal, Lucius must surrender everything to the Empire except for Insomnia. Also, yes, I'm saying Lucius and Lucius, so you can't get mad at my pronunciation. And Noctis has to marry Lunafreya. Regis agrees because, you know, he's getting old. During this, Crow is sent by Kingsglaive's boss Titus on a mission to go and guard Luna.
You come back in one piece, alright?
2 pieces.
This angers old Big Libertus, who leaves the group to join rebels who want the king dead.
Know what you think about this war, but what do you think about this peace?
I want peas.
So the peace signing treaty with the Emperor leader Ludolus arrives. Luna is then kidnapped by the Niflheim Guard, and Nyx discovers this and finds that the Empire had ships stationed outside of Insomnia, the Lucian capital. So he gets the king's permission to sneak aboard those ships, where he finds Luna and rescues her, but turns out that some of the Kingsglaive also want to join the Empire and start killing each other. As yet, that whole peace treaty business was a fake plot. Niflheim's whole plan was to steal the crystal, which powers the Lucian shield, so that the ships can enter and take over the last piece of land in Eos, where they also want the Ring of the Lucha, which is a super OP piece that lets you have the power of the gods. Rhaegar sees it and tries it on, but the gods deem him unworthy and his arm burns off. So Luna grabs the ring and with Nyx to go and find Noctis, as the king stays back and fights the Empire, but then dies to this night. Keep in mind this is all happening during the opening of the game, as you're with Noctis during this whole time. And so now everyone who is borrowing the king's power loses it when he dies, including all of the Kingsglaive, as Libertus realizes that Doritos are bad for your health, and that the Empire used them to betray each other to sow distrust, as Titus, you know, the leader of the Kingsglaive, reveals himself to be that traitor knight who killed Crow and the king, as Niflheim promised their families new homes if they agreed to help the Empire. And Nyx, without weapons, then puts on the ring and he sees the past kings of Lucis, where they say he's unworthy despite being in that famous TV show. But the Ghost King Regis is like, "Oi, this is Aaron Paul, come on bros!" So they let him use their powers until the sun rises, where his life will be forfeit. And begins quite an epic and quite long CGI fight scene, where Nyx summons the Old Wall, which is all the past king statues that they come to life and help fight this giant Niflheim monster that is invading. And eventually Nyx wins over the traitor and dies himself. Well, Libertus now will take Luna out of the city and is then told by her to stay behind, as she walks on and leaves with a ring to go and find Noctis. So, yep, all the original movie characters are dead. Are we gonna see Libertus again?
Unlikely.
And that's the movie. It really does fly through these scenes to tell as much story as possible, while still having those big action set pieces. So, yeah, it's kinda pretty good. Like, the CGI still feels incredibly real when the characters look like a hybrid of motion capture, but they will fit in that anime world and aesthetic.
Fascinating to think that this was all created on a computer, because I've never seen anything that's so realistic that actually is emotional as well.
And to make it more real, you even got Audi brand sponsorship. Oh man, I want an Audi now. Oh. Also, it has weird sentence mixing where I think the editor was chopping up lines to make it snappier to fit the runtime.
Tell me, how heavy a sentence to the...
And I guess the most important character, Luna, you get her backstory here. A little bit of her personality.
What I fear is doing nothing and losing everything.
Oh, come on.
He's like a lemming, I swear. Because as you'll see in the main game, where'd she go? Shouldn't we be seeing more of her? And yes, this movie was made as a prologue for a game, so you had all the gamers having to watch
Final
it.
Fantasy, The Spirits Within, which was garbage. It was terrible. It was boring.
I don't care what anybody says. That's one of the best sci-fi films ever made.
Next on the list is Brotherhood, the small episode anime series that was animated by A1 Pictures and has the buddies on their road trip fighting the Empire's Magitech army. You know, robots! But they also use captured demons to attack, which flashbacks to Noctis' childhood, where he was badly hurt by this one, as then each future episode are flashbacks to each bro and how they met the prince, with the final episode being them finally taking down the monster. What are you doing, Noctis? You need fiber for consistent bowel movement. First we see Prompto, who... So after Luna accidentally sends him a letter saying, "Look, Noctis' friend, I know you're his friend, just keep being his friend." Oh crap, she thinks I'm his friend. Better lose weight so I can be his friend. Hey, stop sniffing the letter! And so after losing weight, he becomes Noctis' friend. Yes, I agree with the comment, it's very wholesome. And so you learn Gladio trained Noctis from a young age. Noctis then helped Gladio's sister and took the blame for her running off. Ignis does everything for the prince and it's so touching. Noctis will try and learn to help him out with the cooking because, oh man, party members in JRPGs. I love it so much when you get to interact with all these different people who do things differently to you, but then you all eventually come to an understanding after a long journey together.
Get that cat out of the way!
And yep, they kill the snake thing and win. And man, it's kind of nuts that both of these media are not in the game. I mean, it's free to watch, but they knew how important the movie was and reused scenes in the game. Like, maybe they both could have been in the game's menu in an option thing. What happens when you can't access them anymore? I know the answer, but do you? And Brotherhood, at least you get to know how the bros were beforehand, and I really think it does a stand-up job, but it's kind of shame it was never dubbed though. And one kind of important thing you learn from this is that the Empire will use demons as enemy pets to attack. Like you have this in Kingsglaive, and you have the snake in the anime. But now, we are finally ready to jump into the game. There's more? So now, because of whatever version you pre-ordered, you got access to A King's Tale, which is free on the store, and it's a side-scroller beat-em-up. Think River City Girls and the like, where Regis is telling this to Noctis as a bedtime story. You can air juggle, do combos, call on your allies, who, yes, you will see them in the main game later. I don't think it's super essential, but at least it explains how Sid knew your father, and this guy who you will see way later in the main game. But yeah, I didn't finish this because it was kind of repetitive, so after 30 minutes I just gave up. But there is more. Yes, there was a VR game. I never owned anything VR related. I've never experienced VR, so I have no way. Oh, the minute I get VR, you know what I'm using it for. Talking to people in Japanese so I can improve my language. What were you thinking? So I have no way of experiencing this properly, but fishing in VR. Whoa!
That's it! If it isn't too much trouble.
Please don't tell me this is like explaining the lore of Noctis' mother is going to be hidden in this.
Wait, really?
You then had Episode Disc A, which was released a year before the full launch, and it was only obtainable as a code when you bought the physical copy of Final Fantasy Type 0, which is surprising to learn that people still say the codes work to this day if you manage to find a day one copy. You know, a little bonus gift for you buying physical media, which will show your age and making it so that anyone born past 2000 won't understand. You mean you actually own your games? Are you crazy? And there was a slice of the game Hunting the Behemoth Deadeye, which was repurposed into the full game. But the animations, UI, camera are all different. It's these small things I think that makes people want to still seek it out and try it, because I guess it's pretty rare being only accessible by buying the other Fabula Nova Crystallis game, which is kind of amusing. Then you have the Platinum demo. Oh, okay, I have this one on my PS4. I got it back in the day. I remember playing this. I can't play it on my PS5. Yeah, so apparently the PS5, I learned this, just doesn't play PS4 demos sometimes. Sometimes it does. This time it doesn't. Wait, why not Senran Kagura 2? Yeah, so I actually really wanted to revisit this, but I don't know where my PS4 is. And even though I have it on my account, it just does not work. Yay, I love modern technology. But it's with Noctis as a kid and his pet Carbuncle. It's like a dream creature of sorts, where it feels more like a tech demo where you could just run around as the animals. It's all in Noctis' dreams. And the devs actually were hoping for feedback on this to then be used to fix up more of the main game. And oh man, that is it. You should be pretty much ready to jump into FF15. Now yes, I and many others don't like when games piecemeal things that are super important outside of the game. Square did and still do this a lot. So yes, I can see how you might not want to engage with any of this. It shouldn't be blamed on you, but it will harm your experience of the game. I think it's kind of different when the game is released and you're then going, by the way, there's a Japan-only concert with more epilogue after the game. And if you don't read about this afterwards, you're stupid and that you didn't know the plot. Like, am I supposed to still care about this years afterwards as a concert? But these were things that were released before the game came out during the hype cycle where you wanted any crumb of information. So yes, I understand why they did it.
I like money.
Like they thought, oh okay, some person in the cinema release of Kingsglaive would be like, whoa, hyper-real CGI cutscenes. I want to buy the game for this now. Surely there was one person who did that. Or maybe they saw the anime on YouTube for free and then would try out the demos and then play the game. They were doing everything possible to grab everyone from everywhere to play this game. And it did show because it actually got positive reviews when November finally hit in 2016. The notable issues being that damn loading on the PS4, where for such a big world, you could be waiting for up to a minute letting it load. And yes, I was very familiar with this because, well, I kind of started my YouTube journey in 2016, and I attempted to stream for the first time 3 games during the end of that year. One was a visual novel that I shall talk about some other time because there's a funny story with that. The other was this game, and the third was the Ruby video game. You wonder why I ain't a big streamer now. But yes, I streamed my whole playthrough of this, all from the PlayStation 4's inbuilt streaming. And you do not understand anxiety when you are streaming to 0 viewers and you have to keep thinking of things to say through a 1-minute loading screen because you never know when that one viewer may show up. This loading time is probably why I have such a big aversion to long loading times in games now. I never want to experience that horror again. The game does work on the PS5 with backwards compatibility and has a PC port too, which, yeah, just make sure you install it on an SSD. It still takes time, but it is more manageable than it was at launch, and it's probably the longest loading times I've ever experienced on my PS5. I don't think they did a PS5 patch for it either. And yeah, other reviews were saying the bros, they felt very bro-like. The music was outstanding. Combat was okay, sort of like Kingdom Hearts actually, and the endgame was very undercooked. But despite all that and all the marketing they did,
Why would someone play this? Why would someone play this game?
in the first 24 hours, it sold and shipped 5 million units, allowing the game to break even on day 1. The biggest FF launch in history, Tabata even saying the strong sales saved Final Fantasy as a franchise, which was on a decline. And then with all the patches and ports to PC and Google Stadia, what do you mean it had exclusive modes for the Stadia? You can't keep doing this, Square! It sold 10 million by 2022, making it an amazingly successful game. And I was one of them. Because of this game and my awe of it, I jumped in for the first time, making this my first Final Fantasy. And like they wanted, I became a fan of the franchise. I have gone back and played through many of the other games. It is one of my most beloved franchises, all because of this stinking game. I expanded my eyes from the FIFA pitch and Uncharted Subway Grease to Persona, Kingdom Hearts, and so many more. This game showed to me what JRPGs could be, what gaming could be. And in 2017, I had the biggest rush trying out so many game franchises for the first time. I'll go more into this later in the video, but just know this game means a lot to me because of how it shaped who I am. But yeah, the experience wasn't always the best because yes, the loading sucked among other things like the driving in the original game. You couldn't even go off-road, so you felt limited in the open world. You would just sit there the whole time letting your butler drive you around, and with the stamina, you couldn't just run and explore the open world, and there were so many story issues, which yes, they did try and address with patches and DLC. Like, it is actually hilarious that it was in the day one patch that they added those Kingsglaive movie cutscenes. And Omen, that was a little trailer they made for YouTube, this patch added them into the game. So if you played this without an internet connection in 2016, you must have been so lost because with those scenes missing, you wouldn't even know how your dad died in the game. But even other things like warping outside of battle, so you just had to run everywhere. So many things were not in the pre-patched version. But then in December, a month after release, you had New Game Plus patched in, then a Moogle Carnival that you can't access anymore. Then in 2017, a whole new segment, the Chapter 13, which I'll get to later, then added in DLC, collabs like with Terra Battle, Final Fantasy 14, and most disappointing to me, an Assassin's Creed event, which you cannot experience anymore. As a big Ezio fan, why? I want my small battalion, man!
Don't you dare.
There are just so many things they added after the game came out for 3.5 years because, yeah, when I played FF15 at launch, I was pretty lost in the story. But the newness of how it was nothing like I've ever played before, I was just wowed enough and it was okay, it made sense, and I hadn't seen what the genre could do. So the game was still cool to me, but now, replaying this again with all these added scenes in, where you can tell that some got more care than others, and yeah, they brought the voice actors back, and as such, I can't believe it. The game that I enjoyed at launch is actually even better now. This feels so weird. I understand the plot now! So yes, for this video, I'll be playing the game on PS4, loaded on my PS5 with all the recent patches. I have the Windows Edition too, and I'll touch upon that later on, because it comes free with the post-game DLC. So yes, this is gonna be a real nostalgia trip to play this once again on a PlayStation machine. Huh, did I really beat this game on New Year's Eve? Look, I don't like alcohol that much, okay? Gaming seems more fun to me than drinking, okay? This picture I made was a meme. I don't drink that much. So, the game is set in a world where it does what I love from Final Fantasy, not being too fantasy. You know, where aspects of our real life are sprinkled in, with the phones, cars, and then they also made this decision, I guess to make it feel more Western feeling, where it's got so many tropes of what I think is what I imagine when I hear about Southern USA or more rural America. You know, those open highways and pit stops with diners straight out of the 1950s. And so it just really looks like they got these anime people walking around America, you know, like some convention is taking place and they're on some road trip to it. Yes, I can say that now because I finally went to my first convention and there was not a single FF13 cosplay. Surprisingly cheap merch though. Anyway, the game starts off with you as Noctis in this room with a tutorial if you want. It's kinda long having to load through each tutorial option, but it teaches you the basics, the dodging, the warping, how you're attacking from behind, you do more damage. And once finished, you can finally start the game, where it starts in the far future, showing you four fighting a fire god and huddling together, before flashing back, where you and the bros head out from Lucis to go to the wedding, with King Regis seeing you off.
Your Highness! You!
And let's get this bachelor party started!
You're just gonna have to push her all the way.
I've already pushed myself to the brink of death.
Get up. Come on, car isn't gonna move itself.
Sheesh.
I would show this scene in its entirety, but there's a copyrighted song playing, thanks Lawrence Nightingale. But it really does a great job showing the dynamic of the four. Gladio, the muscle no thinking, Noctis, the complainer, Prompto, the joker, and Ignis, the mother of the group.
Hey, let's see what they've got for sale.
We've already brought everything we need.
As we arrive in Hammerhead, the rootless, tootless petrol station.
Hey there, y'all kept a girl waiting.
Okay. We should address the elephant in the room. Holy fuck, she is so hot! No, I'm serious. Look at how thick she is. Yes, this is a real official Minecraft collab.
Now, which one's the prince?
Here I am.
Well, you now need money to pay for this car repair. Yeah, you kind of forgot to ask your dad for some cash, so you can ask the restaurant people for tips on where things are on the map, and then you do hunter quests, which are Monster Hunter World. And this teaches you the combat, giving you bonus AP if you do what the orange bar says, and also AP for answering dialogue choices. But yes, this is the illusion of choice. You get the same AP no matter what option. And AP is used on a skill tree to unlock things like more attacks for your bros, since you can't actually control them. Yep, at launch you could only play as Noctis, which was still fine, as you could access different weapons from a sword, a big sword, pointy sticks, and daggers, with your party just fighting with you. And for a team AI, they actually were pretty good, and it added a lot of party synergy, like if you attack from behind, you would do a team attack. You'll constantly see flourishes like this, like the boys high-fiving, pressing square, you can pick them up with unique animations. They actually felt like a real party together. This is easily one of the standouts where the game really made it feel like you were just four bros helping each other out in combat. So I didn't mind that you could only play as Noctis.
Nice work, Gladio.
Yep.
And yeah, picking up the game, it's kind of weird because you got the health in that you get attacked and you lose health, but it's like a fighting game where you can heal this part back over time or with potions. However, enemies can do chip damage that will chip off your health permanently, and potions won't bring this back, so you need elixirs. So it's like, why not just always use elixirs? Because potions are never the better options unless you find them out for free in the wild, which you will find a lot of them with these blue icons. And yes, the big complaint, pressing X will jump, and pressing X picks up things, and it still has that issue. Feeling very laggy when you press X, it will jump instead. Like you gotta stand still, look at the thing you want to pick up, and not be too far forward for it to work right. But yeah, back to the party, they did patch it in later where you can then spend AP on the skill tree to play as your bros now, where I'll get into it a little bit later, because the DLC also focuses on each person's unique combat. But yes, at launch, you couldn't, and now it's a pretty normal thing, but it's kind of annoying you gotta spend AP just to unlock that feature.
Y'all don't look much like hunters, but what do you say? Put that puppy to rest for me?
Sure, we'll do it. Well, for the right price.
Well, y'all got guts, that's for sure. Let me tell you where I last saw him.
Phew. For a second, I thought you were gonna forget to ask for cash.
And this quest has a big foe, so Ignis suggests, let's just camp beforehand, where you got this flat grounds on a hill, where 3 elements are scattered around and you can suck them up to combine to make your magic flask, and then you can camp where you'll pick food for Ignis to cook for you, which offers stat buffs for a time, and each party member can have their favorites. Yep, the former big guy Prompto loves the salad now. And what can we afford to make at this point with our limited funds? And now we get one of the most important things from the game.
But first, let me take a selfie.
So Prompto loves photography, and his AI during the game will take photos randomly every day until you rest, where you can now review the 10 photos he took and save up to 200 of them permanently during your whole playthrough. And it's quite crazy how in-depth it is, because of course you got the story mandated photos, like he'll always take one of Cindy here, but then you got some action ones during the fight. Maybe he takes one of the monsters, but then of the bros, and they will pose in the photo so candidly. You won't ever see the models doing this in-game because it would slow down the process if you had to stop and take a photo, but you see this all in the campsite. He was secretly taking photos, and you will always see what photos he took because you have to, camp to get experience to level up. So you're gonna see these photos, and each playthrough, they are all very unique. They did update the game where you can manually take photos with Noctis, but it kind of sucks because no one poses. Noctis doesn't even pose, it's just like, you can pretend to be a cameraman for a bit. Whoa, hey Noctis, what are you doing, bud? Luna's not gonna like that!
It's a very bad picture, but it's fun. So, we shared it, and there's nothing bad about it. Also, in this kind of situations, when some jerk ruining all your souvenir shot, it's happened once in a while, but yeah, when it's happening in the game, it's fun, and everyone like to share it. and we're happy with that.
It's actually crazy hearing how much thought went into this automatic photo snapshot feature, and how the game tricks you by swapping out the model where they actually are to make it look like Prompto was in this position when it was taken. They did this because when consoles had social media integrations with the share button, you know, before that's just gone, it was an easy way to get promotion for the game. You could also then get secret photos, unique angles that no one would get in the world, or rare photo bombs. And that's not all, because then the group at the campsite would also randomly comment on the photos depending on what it's about.
Look at this poser.
Shut up.
Especially during 2016 when people were posting photos online more candidly and not with how filters everything is and the algorithms ruining people sharing photos now. This was such a cool feature where you felt more involved in the world that these anime bros were running around in, and you would want to go out and take more photos to see more of them. Drawing attachment to like, oh yeah, remember that time Noctis did that stupid jump? And then you had to specifically go and pick which ones you wanted to save because he would chuck the rest in the bin, making the process feel even more personal, like, oh, I like this one, let's save it. Well, we do the quest and should go back to Cindy to pay for the car.
What is that?
Why is it dive bombing us? It's just like a real crow wanting to crack our heads open. And yeah, this is still insane to me. Like, this thing is in the game world with me?
Would y'all mind making a little delivery for me?
No, I'm kind of busy.
Thought you'd say yes.
And well, since I'm here, we might as well swap out the Regalia, our car, to the off-road model that they passed in. As, yeah, you couldn't just drive off-road. You had to make some modifications here to be able to do that. You couldn't drive off-road with that luxury version. You had to make it look like...
She's all ready for you. Have a look.
Yeah, take that, you wildlife.
Umbra, bringing us stuff. Atta boy.
That dog can really track a scent.
Certainly knows how to find us.
Why is he like this? So this is the first real showing of Luna in the game, as a flashback, and that she's British.
It's the same kind.
Where her pet Umbra brings Noctis this book, where they are to write messages of love to each other in it, or pick from those three options. Because Luna, remember, after the movie, she had run off somewhere, using now this dog as a messenger to talk to Noctis. You do realize the world has smartphones. Why don't you just FaceTime Luna?
You don't say.
This is also all just taking place before the signing ceremony, you know, from the movie that you can hear from radio broadcasts.
So, you thinking to fairy tale Lady Lunafreya back to the Crown City?
Nah, no need to rush to happily ever after.
Wow. Still can't believe you're actually tying the knot, dude. How does it feel now that it's finally happening?
Fine, I guess.
Ah, come on, you can't fool me. Any guy would be over the moon to marry her.
No big deal.
Yeah, whatever.
I guess he's not even fussed at not seeing Luna yet.
For her wedding ceremony in the coming days, please be advised that during this time alone, her duties as Oracle will be suspended.
It's in the treaty?
Of course. Simple formality.
One of those symbol of the peace deals.
So it's more like a marriage of convenience.
Her ladyship seems nevertheless amenable to the prospect.
And Noctis likes the idea.
What's that? I do? Buzz off.
I don't know. He sometimes acts like he doesn't want the wedding. Maybe it's too early in the relationship of, you know, they were childhood friends? I don't know. Maybe he's still enjoying the single bachelor life.
Bet the food's gonna be pretty damn fancy too.
As long as it's something I can eat.
As opposed to dissect.
Ugh, royally embarrassing.
And at the All-American Diner, where you can now play Justice Monsters 5, a pinball game. Yes, of course, this was a real app that Square Enix released. You're this far into the video. Have you learned nothing yet?
I can eat a horse.
So we arrive in Golden, where the ship will take us to Altissia for the wedding ceremony across the sea. But more importantly...
Take a shot from here. Good call. Now it's picture time. Let me get this shot. Oh, love the lighting.
And yeah, this is so cool because you don't actually get to see the photo until you camp, bringing that feeling of, oh, okay, how does the photo look? I want to see it. Also, another thing I noticed was how annoying the stamina was. If you jumped, It seems to pause the stamina lowering, so okay, you're just gonna see me randomly jump across because it is a nightmare to run anywhere in this game. But then we find...
I'm afraid you're out of luck.
Are we?
The boats bring you here.
What about them?
Well, they'll not take you forth.
And what's your story?
I'm an impatient traveler, ready to turn ship. The ceasefire's getting us nowhere.
What's this? Some sort of souvenir?
They make those?
What? No. Consider it your allowance.
Huh?
Yeah. And who's allowing us?
A man of no consequence.
Gee, maybe I shouldn't have watched the movie because I know he's evil. Well, let's just enjoy this expensive establishment. Man, the food here sure do looks good. All that carpet fibers. And yep, the ships aren't running, as this reporter with a different American accent.
My sources, the Empire, given strict orders not to let any vessels leave the docks of Altissia.
I don't owe you anything. Wait, we mustn't rub him the wrong way.
Wow, we got to level up for that. And he's like, okay, if you don't want me spilling to the press this intimate photo that I took of you and Cindy, you're gonna go out and find this rare gem for me.
Blackmail. You understand, don't you?
And instead of doing that, we find this cat who wants some fish.
Hey, do you serve anything a cat might like?
That the best pickup line you've got?
So we're gonna catch some fish for it. We really have no interest in the wedding, huh? But yeah, this is a side quest that teaches you the fishing minigame, a staple of good JRPGs. And Noctis's big personality. He really loves fishing. And it's not the best fishing minigame I played. You get so many equipment to choose and buy and set up, then you have to cast your line out and lure the fish, which I swear, these fish were not falling for my tricks. And then if you take too long, the tension will break and you're gonna buy a new line and equip it again. It's like fishing for people who love fishing. I do not. I just let the people at Coles give me my salmon so I can cook it. And all this while, the bros are just sitting bored behind you.
Think I'll play King's Knight in the meantime.
Better not. His Highness will get sulky.
Man, why do we even need to go to the wedding? It's so relaxing here. So we go and grab the gemstone from the reporter, which is a scripted event. We gotta sneak past that giant chicken until... Oh yes, you better believe I'm gonna talk about the music later, or I may forget because this video is very long. But also, oh, the chicken don't like me. And so going back, I decided, let's just camp since I haven't banked my experience for a while. And let's just see what that photo prompto took.
My back!
God, I love these camping scenes so much.
Hey, isn't that...
Isn't what?
Just my imagination.
And then you get a random scripted event if you camp at certain spots. The bros will want time too. Where Gladio was like, man, you're lazy. Time to wake up at 6 a.m. and we're gonna run on the beach in a race. If you lose, I'll shave your head. Okay, that is taking it too far. I can't lose this. And so we return the jewel to the reporter, who burns the photo of us and Cindy so Luna will never find out. And I guess we still can't go on the boat. So then we go and sleep. And then... oh yeah, the movie time. And yep, since they replaced the audio due to copyright, so there's no dialogue or sound effects from the movie. So this out of nowhere, you got the CGI that is higher quality than anything in the game, with no voices from the movie, and generic music playing over the top. I can't stress how incredibly jarring this is, and even more hilarious finding out this was in the day one patch. So some people never even saw this. But yes, the king died, which really does not hit home at all for this little segment. Like, you see this knight kill him and think maybe, oh, Noctis is gonna get revenge on that knight. Even though if you watch the movie, you know the goat Nyx already did that for you. And so we get the somber reaction where they don't believe the newspaper. Yeah, see, the bros don't even watch the scene that you just saw. They're just reading the news that the king is dead, where the audience sees how they actually died. And so we decide to turn back from our road trip to the capital. But there are roadblocks that we gotta sneak through, where these become little linear segments of combat, like you're funneled through these hallways so you can experience scripted story scenes. As I get more hang of the magic, well, not really, because it has friendly fire, and every time you launch it, well, never ends good for your bros. And so we see the Empire moving in to invade your capital, while the news is also saying you and Luna died, and Core calls us to, he's like a super important hunter guy who's gonna help us when we find him, and now Noctis is distraught that Luna may also be dead. Ah, well, there goes my distraught. I mean, yeah, if you watch the movie, you know Beergut saved her, and I guess she walked all the way out here in high heels and met up with Umbra and Gentiana, who is a messenger from the gods. Luna is an oracle. Her family line are all oracles, the only people in the world who can communicate with the 6 gods of the land. So yeah, while Noctis is moping about, she's just enjoying the sun. It's kind of why things like this you sort of can believe when people say this wasn't a good romance part of the story. Like, we have seen Noctis be more intimate with a restaurant girl and his bros more than Luna, who you only see interact with Noctis as a kid in flashbacks so far. And the few times the wedding is brought up, Noctis downplays the whole thing, not interested in it at all at marrying Luna. So Sid is like, man, I'm old, talk to Core, why are you talking to me? And I just spent some time doing side quests, you know, hunting monsters, because look, in open world games, you want to take the time before going through the main quest, especially here when the game can lock part of the open world when you're in those main quests. And while just not progressing the story, you'll be taken around places of the map that you've already visited, and when you want to go there, you can use the car to manually drive, or auto, where Ignis will follow the road and drive in real time, or if you have visited the places before, you can pay money to fast travel. Early game, since money is tighter than the bros' friendship, it incentivizes you to go out and explore more, and you know, feed into that loop of the photos and the camping.
See that you buy no more than we need. Sheesh, you my mother or something? Mum's the word.
And if you haven't visited the area, you will need to drive, where you can then play music in the car, mostly the older Final Fantasy songs that you can buy at shops, and the bros will talk about some things or have these animations that usually show what people are doing on long car trips. Damn, no Game Boys in this world. Devs, where's the realism? Also, if you run far away from your car, you can then fast travel to it for free, or you can pay $100 to have it towed back to Hammerhead, which I found it was a good way to reset everything. Like, if you wanted to go to Hammerhead and you weren't near the car, you could just pick that option, and then you can go and customize the car with Cindy, as she'll have her own quest, you know, to increase the car's speed and fuel efficiency, as yes, you will need to refuel it with that resource running out over time. Nah, if it goes down, I'm sure the game has like a failsafe cutscene, you know, it'll just teleport me to the next town and fix it up, right? It should be fine, I'm filling it up. And at the shops, you can buy things like ingredients to cook at camp, where Ignis will say the famous line, if you buy a new food he's never seen before.
We hope to see you again.
That's it.
What's up, Iggy?
I've come up with a new recipe.
Can't wait to try it.
Oh my god, pressing left doesn't select all the items when you want to sell them. Oh, no, you gotta go through them one by one. How have they not patched this in? And speaking of the car, when you run around, I kind of felt you didn't get much ambient music, like it only seemed to play in certain areas, but you can buy an MP3 to play in your head like a certain other based Final Fantasy protagonist. But when you're running, you will then randomly get the enemy robot army jumping you. Bro, I'm trying to do the quest. I don't have time for this.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out!
Alright, that's done. Now to find that item I was here for.
Overhead!
Again? Are you serious? And so, I kept doing the chef's quest, hunting monsters for him to cook.
Seems to me Taka could do his own hunting.
Take a chef's knife and doink.
He's no doubt aware of the proper points of separation. Would be quite the carver. Not creepy at all.
And yeah, at night is when the stronger monsters appear. Ignis will even go, bro, I ain't driving you at night. It's all on your road. It's your fault if we die, okay? What? It's not that bad. I'm sorry, Ignis, save me. Okay, fine, enough messing about. Time to get back to the story, where you meet Core in this tomb, which are royal tombs of the previous kings of Lucis, where they give you a royal weapon. Noctis is mad that his dad never told him any of this, and is now dumped with the responsibility of being a king. As you sort of learn that Regis was not really preparing Noctis to be a king and more treating him like a son. So suddenly all this is lumped on top of him. And Core says to find the rest of the tombs scattered throughout Eos. And these are like floating weapons you'll see hovering around Noctis, and to then fully use the power of the crystal, he needs the Ring of the Luci, which Luna has. So Noctis, bro, even if you don't want to marry her, you still gotta see her to get the ring back. So Core unlocks a second tomb for us, and we go in where you gotta turn on the generators for lights, many pathways and roadblocks, where you got modern game squeezing through the hallway while it loads, but it was 2016, so maybe it was one of the first games to do this, and then the other games copied it. And yes, scares of the jumping kind.
Huh?
What is it?
That wasn't there before.
Now I should also mention you have this tech bar on the left where you can equip new moves for the bros, like a special move.
Oh, hi there, opening.
Where they can be attacking, but you can also unlock safety moves like Gladio will defend or Ignis will heal everyone. Quite handy too is that they give Noctis invincibility frames, so when you're in danger, just whip these out and let the animation play, leaving you with safety. Anyway, you're meant to wipe out an enemy base in Duscae, where you split up with Core to help him, get through Noctis going through his dad's death, as Core is super crazy strong, so it's pretty easy fight, you're just talking a lot. And then you got this Empire guy Loki who comes in with a mech, and it's not really a problem because there's a thing about mechs and they really suffer in sub-zero temperatures. I guess some of our party suffers too. As this news makes way to the Empire's king, Ledolus, who is like, okay, we gotta kill Luna, we only need the ring from her. Vestile is like, no, she's the Oracle, she can talk with the 6 gods, we need her. And obviously Ravis wants his sister alive. As now we head into the bigger part of the open world. So here it's way more wet, and I always thought how it was funny how the bros look so anime, yet every NPC looks like real humans, and they just seem like they're cosplaying.
Wait, what? Frogs?
Where there is more monster hunting, getting interrupted by the Robo Army again, and then night falls, and then another Robo Army comes, and it's all for this.
That's it!
What's up, Iggy?
I've come up with a new recipe.
Well, at least we're gonna eat good. And like all modern day friend groups, everyone is on their phone.
That's boss.
Come now, it's nothing special.
Nice work snapping this.
I know, right?
Oh, really?
Oh, this is pretty cool that you can actually open the map while you're on auto drive, like the old days of whipping out that big physical map. But we should probably get that fixed up.
She's a right mess. And this goes there.
We probably should ignore that.
Now in combat, they also added this update called the Cross Chain, where if the enemy is toppled, you can warp strike to them, and you'll start this minigame where you gotta press circle in time to do more damage. And it looks really cool if you can pull it off.
Okay. Here goes.
Oh, it's over. Sleeping out under the stars tonight.
Nice catch, Percy!
And so begins Prompto's special campsite quest. I will unfortunately have to say, for the Ignis fans, I didn't get his one the whole game. But this one you're meant to take a photo of that giant monster in the lake, and you have to wait for the opportune time to take the photo. Then got it. Run for your life! Hey, Prompto! also, you're meant to also run for holy fuck. So we do more car upgrades where you can buy decals and such.
Guess we'll find out when Cindy sprays it on the car.
Feels like we become Cindy's personal errand boys.
Yeah, isn't it great?
As I also realized, whoops. You know those royal arms? Well, they aren't just fine china you can display in your house. Yeah, you actually have to equip them to use them.
My goodness, what an idea. Why didn't I think of that?
So yeah, they are very strong, but also not really because they will just drain your health when you use them, so you can only use them for like 2 seconds. Why would I use them? I also found when you use up too much stamina, like warping around, you enter this stasis form, where you cannot warp for a while. It's these little things which makes the combat, I guess, not brain dead, since you gotta think of strategies to not just warp everywhere. But when you see the movie, and how freaking cool they made the warping look, it's just sad that you can't really go nuts with it in the game. Like, maybe they could unlock a special move that has you pressing buttons in time to warp around the field, attacking everyone, only with that special attack. As now you got the optional quest to find chocobos that you can use them later. At the ranch, they say until you kill the behemoth nearby, they won't let us hire the birds. So it's in this little linear section that is surrounded by rocks. You know, another scripted event that they gotta funnel you through to experience it, which is fine. But like, I remember trying to find the entrance to this place and I had to run all the way around because the map doesn't tell you where the entrance is. And since Noctis is not that great at jumping, you can't just glitch your way into it. You have to enter where they want you to enter. But regardless, the event is cool because you go through and see trees broken in the distance. Something huge is ahead and the weather changes.
The fog's coming in.
Before then...
Hold up.
This is Deadeye because of its one eye, and you gotta slowly follow. Where your teammates then disappear because they don't want the AI to ruin the moment. And it is cool with this figure looming ahead in the fog. And then you have to fight it with these barrels to explode with the magic to help you out. And I got the weirdest flashback to when I streamed this game because I remember on my old PC that I had the VOD, video on demand, saves of this fight. And I am sure. I know it is there, so I gotta find it because I can show it in this video 9 years later.
3 hours later.
I can't find it!
No, I wanted to see how I handled the fight. But I'm pretty sure it went like, wow, I'm pretty bad at this. Look, I even got this thing to scan and recover deleted files. I feel like those old tech guys I thought I would never become. Now I'm them! Haha, being over 30 is great and my body aches. And so we kill it and now can ride the chocobos. I missed the car. And now we continue the main quest to Lestalem, the big city of the region.
So this is the infamous Dick. Hey, Noct, don't you want to get a shot of you in the meteor?
Why not?
Yay! Let's go! Do we have to walk?
Do you want the photo or not? Well, we arrive in Lestalem where it's extremely hot and the brand loyalty is hotter.
Care for cup noodles?
Okay, a special cutscene it's pretty infamous was meant to play, hopefully later. But it's cool walking around as you get to see the sights and sounds of the city.
Heard the wife got a promotion. Congrats.
Yeah, I know I should be happy, but the better she does, the smaller I feel.
As we meet Gladio's sister, Iris.
Gladdy!
Iris.
It's like the Japanese pronunciation. She made it out of the capital, and yeah, since that backstory anime, she kinda has a thing for Noctis.
But a lot of outlying neighborhoods made it through in one piece.
2 pieces.
Jared and Talcott, is it good to see you?
Who are you? Jared and his grandson, young Sheldon.
Bazinga!
I guess they own the hotel and saved Iris. Sure don't think we'll see them again. So Iris is like, yeah, you know your bride-to-be? Yeah, she left town just before you came. Hey, how about you go on a date with me?
Market. You can get almost anything here. Isn't it great? I'd buy out the whole place if I could.
Really? That's nice.
could you at least pretend to be excited?
Like, okay, there's not been one current day scene of Noctis and Luna hanging out in this game. All their flashbacks has been of as kids. Did they never meet since Noctis's dad ran off? Like, okay, maybe that's why they were in separate cities and never got to meet each other, like Romeo and Juliet. But I mean, they could have become online e-daters, you know? There's a FaceTime on the phone. Because of this, it's just super hilarious seeing, yet again, another new character having more chemistry with Noctis. I mean, she joins your party and they even animate her looking at you before looking away. I wonder what is the most popular ship for this game with Noctis. You know, who do people like pairing him up with online? Well, that was never surprising.
What are you laughing at? I could have died. But we got the perfect shot. And had ourselves some crazy fun.
It's just hilarious how Noctis seems so much more personable with the other characters, yet with Luna and the marriage, he shows so much disinterest. He still cares for her safety, and that's why we're here to find her. But it's like, if you want the gamers to care about this wedding, you know, you can show some of the romance if you're trying to make it a Romeo and Juliet thing. I don't think sending letters is enough to carry that, especially when you have like phone, and you can send Instagram reels to each other, which ones they find funny. They had plenty of chances to show this in pre-release material too, you know? But maybe Noctis could have snuck out to meet her, like Romeo and Juliet. Or he wrote romantic letters or jokes showing, oh hey, he's a funny guy.
And besides, you already have Lady Lunafreya. The others are probably back.
But here with Iris, you can just joke with her so easily.
Haven't had fun like this since we were kids. Thanks, Noct.
It's hard work babysitting. Better bring the fellas next time.
What do you mean, babysitting?
Excuse me, but you're a hunter, right?
Yeah, something like that.
You see, Gramps...
It is crazy how despite all the side quests being pretty generic, every one of them is voiced, and the group will then talk about that quest after you walk away.
Certainly not your average little boy.
A little bit too much brass for that.
That's how I imagine you used to be, Iggy.
I wasn't, I assure you.
I guess it helps when not every NPC talks. There's just a few lines, some of them will spout about the world and lore they're currently going through. Like the previous Final Fantasy games have had way more lively NPCs in towns, but I can see how that was a bit too far out of scope for this game, you know, in 2016, with how much things they were trying to cut down. And then we see...
Whoa, it's the Crown Prince. City's most famous hunters, right?
Yeah.
His quest is a magazine editor and he wants you to go around to take photos for him. And yeah, see, the thing is, the more quests you do, you get a lot of experience. And it kind of makes you overpowered. Because even if you never go to camp again, when a chapter ends, the game will then just bank whatever experience you were getting from all these quests. So you will level up regardless. So adding to this, if you're going to engage with this world, the game becomes easier, which is great for newcomers. The more you do, the stronger you become, whether you like it or not. While I do those photo quests and head back...
We're running low on petrol. Mind if we stop to refuel?
Nah, it's fine.
We've run the tank dry.
Great.
And because I upgraded the car to the monster truck version, I can't do the thing where there's an actual mechanic in the game. If you had the base car, you could just push it to the mechanic. And there is the mechanic, 50 meters ahead. And so we are sent here to find another royal tomb.
So much for a little chill. Oh, I got an ice cream headache. Without the ice cream.
But we go to these uncharted segments where you hold forward and there's no real danger.
I'm freezing. Oh, what I wouldn't give for a hot bowl of soup. Soup.
I swear, half your photos are selfies.
Hashtag sorry not sorry.
Gee, you really invisibled yourself this time.
I swear, half your photos are selfies.
Hashtag sorry not sorry.
Bro, this isn't a selfie, this one is! And so the effect of talking to Jared causes Noct to have flashbacks of a buff, naked man.
It started throbbing.
And something seems to be happening to the meteorite outside the city.
Dick.
Well, let's go to the lookout and see what's happening there.
It tastes like
Yeah,
burning.
the fashion in this place sure is strange.
Whoa, this looks awesome.
Dude,
Gee, the food in this place sure is strange.
I dare say I can recreate this.
Wait, don't steal a food, Iggy! And so we meet the suspicious stranger again. I'm sure he's secretly dying of the heat under that. And his voice is so smooth, he convinces us to go with him to see the crystal up close.
What if I drive your car?
You might find the rental fees to be more than you bargained for.
Yay, I got experience for being a cocky little shit. And so, wait, no, I want my monster truck back. Why did you change it?
First Ardyn and then Lestalem. What a coincidence, huh?
Way too convenient to be a coincidence. I reckon he's following us around.
But to what end? That question bothers me deeply, as does his origin.
But we know he's in the Empire. He's the Chancellor of the whole Empire. We saw it in the movie. It's so crazy to me. Like, if you didn't watch the movie, you were meant to, you would think, oh, okay, he sounds pretty evil, but I don't know, maybe he's just suspicious. He could be good. But movie people know way more of the scenes that the bros don't know. So then you think, wow, you guys sure are stupid. And wait, why are we stopping? It's right there, Ardyn.
What say we continue on to Cauthus?
The Archean's not going anywhere.
Neither are we under your stewardship.
Well, well, if it isn't yours truly.
If you'd rather not be in photos?
Oh, I don't mind at all. Snap away for His Highness's collection.
What?
God, I love Ardyn so much. Here you also unlock a beast whistle where you can, I don't know, summon monsters to fight if you want. Stupid Amazon garbage never works right. So we listen to the radio about the Oracle and then get a flashback to the Oracle where Noctis isn't there. So he's like envisioning this where she can heal people. And then
We should have done more, like taking her in.
Damn right. She could have bunked at my place.
Or mine. I'm sure the missus would understand.
Don't think being married will give you an excuse not to work out.
That came out of nowhere.
You can't just let yourself go with the eyes of the world on you.
I don't know about that. He seems to have pulled it off so far.
What does that mean?
why is everyone ganging up on me? These guys are hitting on my fiance. So the Empire is blocking access to the Titan, who is said to be one of the 6 gods, and he's kind of stuck holding up the meteor. And it's kind of weird. The Empire is letting Ardyn through. Is he still suspicious? Yeah, these 4 may be stupid, and stupid because they stand on cliffs near tourist sites, as Noctis and Gladio get separated from the others.
Sick of this endless walking.
And I'm sick of your endless whining. Calm the hell down.
Get off my back.
Are you a man of royal blood, or aren't you?
That came out of nowhere.
And so the Titan has something to say.
I'm not following you.
And so while the Empire is trying to capture it, it tries to kill us with its speed.
Does this mean it's over?
What is it now?
What is he
Oh, great camera angle there, game. So the Titan had spoken with Luna and then gives himself to us, meaning now you have the power of the Titan as a summon. And summons work differently in this game to the other Final Fantasies, where only when you're in danger in a fight, you hold L2. And the Titan will come charging out of nowhere to obliterate the enemy. And the song is so good. I love how they timed the drop with it on the big moment. Oh yeah, in the fight, I got Prompto an ability where on the link, I could get him to take a photo of the enemy. It doesn't do any gameplay damage. There's just a chance that he might take a fun selfie in fights. It never happened for me. I just got blurry photos of the monsters.
Pack your things. Get out of my building.
I was just...
You're fired!
And so Ardyn is like, by the way, I'm the Chancellor, lol. Also, you better come aboard because you're gonna die here. And so they reluctantly do, while we see the Empire picking up Al.
Merciful crap! My car!
And then we see the bros talking on board, and it feels low budget. And you'll be right in assuming that because this was a scene that was patched in. I know it's super normal now for games to just patch in things that seem super obvious because they didn't have time or resources to do so when they launched. That's just the current climate of gaming. Oh god. But this was 2016, and it's kind of funny because they were listening to fans and still improving the game after launch all all the way back then. But yeah, it really feels out of place. It's kind of like Yakuza 0, where they had different levels of cutscenes. You know, you got the expensive movie CGI cutscenes, then you have normal cutscenes with cinematography, and then these NBC animation loop ones that you can tell they just patched in because they were thinking, oh, okay, we really got to explain what's happening here. And so the Empire took our car.
So you lost my car, eh? Well, that's just grand.
Which means, oh my god, bro, I gotta run around this entire world on foot with stamina. Kinda good you did that optional quest with the chocobo, huh? Which is also frustrating because you gotta pay per day to use them. So only if you'd paid for them to use days in the future could you then call a chocobo. And yes, of course, the chicken has stamina too. But we see Umbra and then Gentiana appears, saying how Luna is attempting to get the 6 gods to help Noctis. Oh, so she's running away from the wedding. She's gonna talk to the gods. Oh, she doesn't want to get married. As we see a flashback again, when Noctis learns about the crystal, but he didn't understand any of this as a kid. And Gentiana helps us now to find Ramu, the lightning god. We gotta run around the map touching 3 stones, with a final one in this cave.
You think we can fit through there?
Gotta try. Hold on a second.
Thank God I didn't record my face during the gameplay.
See? I told you.
Okay, they are really running out of these jump scare ideas. Wow, now this is riveting.
Quite the rivet in town of events.
And so we get Ramu on our team, and you have 2 gods, so when you do that summon thing, it's actually gonna randomize who you get.
Yeah?
We'll figure it out.
You sure about that?
Yeah, thanks for the heads up. Later.
Who was that?
Cindy.
What? You can't talk to her like that.
Yeah, I can. I just did.
So Cindy says the Regalia is at an Empire base and you gotta go all the way there. It's actually funny the Empire will still keep spawning those enemies to attack us from the ship, but it only works if you're standing still because it's gonna spawn them where you are currently. But if you're moving, they're always just gonna land behind you, so it's never a problem. And yeah, you know, in this game, if you think about it, what is the Empire actually done? Seriously, when you hear they are bad, that's all you hear. They did some roadblocks and they send some robo-mechs to fight you. You never actually see them doing anything bad in the game. Like no NPC you have to save from them or things like that. The only real bad thing you see is them killing your dad, which was from the movie that was patched in. It's just amusing to think that this is an experience of someone who didn't see any pre-release material. They would have a very different experience of Final Fantasy 15. So you gotta stealth section where your warping will actually now insta-kill the enemies, only in the scripted area, it doesn't do that outside, as you work your way through to find your car, but the enemy spots you and there's so many! Ramu, crush their balls. Oh God, you obliterated their balls. Well, let's take the car.
Guys?
Long has it been, Noctis.
Bravest.
You received the storm's blessing, and yet you know nothing of the consequences. The King's sworn shield.
You better believe it.
A weak shield protects naught.
Hey, what's the paddling? But Ardyn appears going, oh, let them leave, and we can finally have our baby back. And so we go to Lestalem and find out.
None of us said a word about Noct.
What happened to Jared?
There was nothing we could do.
Jared? Who the f is Jared? Oh, Jared.
What do you mean?
You know that flashback that I just showed? It was actually added in a patch because people really didn't remember who that guy was. As yeah, the game really shafts the minor NPCs who probably should be important. Like, I'm not saying they should do this, but say if Iris was captured or killed here, that would mean more to the group, you know? The Empire did something bad. Oh, but no, they just killed some guy you met once and he has a non-fantasy name, so it's pretty hard to care about his name, you know, compared to the other characters. characters. And so Noctis, with them grippers out, dreams a Super HD Dream, which was that pre-release trailer they put back into the game. Okay, they're good at reusing the assets, all right? And now we're gonna take Iris to the port, where we're gonna go on a boat to Altissia to finally meet Luna.
Whoa, check it out. See that? That's the Rock of Ravito. I'm like 90% sure.
Not 100.
You almost know your stuff.
All thanks to Jared.
And the group really are trying to shoehorn the love for Jared, huh? But on the way, we see another pop-up base, and we gotta walk through the front gate. So this Empire guy, Caligo, is responsible for killing Jared, but he escapes, and then in comes the Imperial Commodore. Non-Aussies even get that joke? It's Aranea, the hottest character in the game. Wow. Cindy is hotter, but she has no character personality. Like, man, Aranea, by the end, you really wish they did more with her. And I wish she did me. Her fight is insane because she's a Dragoon, a Final Fantasy class type with a spear lance that love to hop up in the sky, and you can warp to her to fight in a QTE event if you want, or you could fight her on the ground. It's really cool for type of fight because most other games would make it mandatory. Oh, you have to see these QTE animations that we specifically put into this fight. But no, only if you want to, you can warp up top to her, where you win and she's like, oh, it's quitting time. They ain't paying me for overtime, and leaves. As now finally to the port.
Is it me or is this place begging to be explored?
Never been one to turn down an invitation.
If what they say about the Malmalum thicket is true,
then we might just find what we're looking for here.
Sure. Side quest again. I love getting experience, but I don't really want to.
Oh, while you guys were gone, I saw a chocobo run past and it had a person on its back. Have you guys ever ridden one before? I bet it'd be super fun.
Funny you should ask.
Noct, call a bird for the lady.
Ignis, I didn't hire any chocobos for the days in advance because I didn't think we need them. We can't get one! Oh, damn it, I'm gonna miss exclusive voice lines and have stamina pains. And on the way to whatever this place was, seriously, I don't know why I was stopping here. They don't even mention it. There's a monster, I guess?
He's on.
And I don't know, this place was so glitchy for me as the bros weren't even running together as when I tried Prompto's team attack.
Prompto, you're up!
Get over here, you lazy bum! And the entire way till I got to a campsite, he just wasn't following me in the party, which was nice then because Iris joined, so she has some fighting moves.
Never fear, Prompto's here!
Accident. How do you find time to take pictures in the middle of a fight?
It ain't easy, Iris. If I don't, no.
Would that be a problem?
I found it's just better to let it loose than...
You could be a professional cameraman.
I hold on to the hope.
As we then fight this absolutely sick enemy design. Me liking anything dinosaur coded. Oh, I'm such an original guy. And we get a royal arm. Ah, that's why we were coming here. They didn't really make that obvious. Where I should mention, you also have this blue bar that builds up when you fight. And when it's full, you have to very finicky press L1 and R1. I never got it right. And you go Super Saiyan with all the royal arms to do a ton of damage to enemies. Anyway, heading out, and then there was that strange voice before, remember? And turns out, this is one of the 1 of 2 available collabs in the game. This is with Terra Wars, which I ain't even gonna begin to say I understand. It's a spin-off of Terra Battle by Mistwalkers, and it was shut down in 2020, which is crazy. That Assassin's Creed, unfortunately, is still going on, and that collab is gone. Why? And apparently that collab has more character growth for Cindy, which I would have liked to see. Don't judge me. And Noctis apparently reveals that he loves Assassin's Creed, which is like, I love it too. Come on, why?
Bring those troopers to life just to let them die. It's kind of sad, you know?
What's so sad about a bunch of robots getting their circuits fried?
Robots. Right.
What an odd thing to say.
So this is Sarah, who is making it weird because it's like the 3rd Final Fantasy game that has Sarah characters and I like the game. But here's the actual crazy thing. She has really good chemistry with Noctis. As you wake up in this world with her brought from her game, you can't change weapons or anything, and you meet these aliens.
Aliens?
aliens?
And you have to save their world from something that is erasing them. So remember how if you're down, your allies can pick you back up? Have I not mentioned that in the video? I think I did. Just pay attention, okay? When you lose health, you don't die, but you'll have this gray bar. And only when that is gone, then you game over. As you enter this wobbly state, and your allies have to run over and press square to pick you up. And you can do this for your allies. It's a way to bring more team synergy, but it also sucks because if you're down, you just gotta wait for the AI or use up a potion to heal back up quickly. Well, here...
Are you Hey! Watch out!
You watch out!
And you don't get in my way!
You know, you're not the only one fighting here.
Sorry, did you say something?
Never mind.
What's wrong?
It's just... we weren't really in sync, you know?
Huh. For our first time, I thought we fought pretty well together.
You... really?
So these little SOBs steal our phone and Sarah tries to get it back for us, showing how she will just do whatever it takes to help people, even if it means hurting herself. Huh. The parallels. And with that anime move being the special, and then it turns out this boss copies Sarah, and you have to fight an evil version of her.
Ah! Ignis, Sarah!
What? Me?
So we win.
Thanks to you, I can finally continue on my journey. I am in your debt.
Sure. Hey, you're fading away.
Speak for yourself. I guess this is goodbye.
Oh, yeah, I guess you're right. What's so funny?
You're a funny guy, you know that?
Well, yeah, but it takes one to know one, doesn't it?
I certainly never thought you'd be so sad to say goodbye.
I mean, we've been through a lot together.
I remember when you first looked at me like, what has she dragged me into?
One hell of a mess, that's what.
You got me there. And a word of advice, you really shouldn't keep your friends waiting around while you fish.
What? How the hell did you know about that?
The Hiso aliens told
Guys,
me.
I'm starting to think Noctis and Luna isn't the best pairing in this game.
Check it out! Who's puny now?
Like, this is another character that spends more time with Noctis than Luna. You have the bro, you have Iris, Cindy, even Aranea hits on you. Now, Sarah, you even have real people who would rather pair Noctis with Lightning, Cloud, and even the goat Nyx Ulrich. I'm not saying it's bad to want Luna and Noctis together, but taking at what the game has given us, flashbacks as kids, not a single scene in the room together more recently, not even a phone call, and even when bringing up the wedding to Luna, Noctis seems indifferent, but is just cheerful talking to other people. I personally don't really care about shipping in games. I'm just like, cool, whatever. But people like this, that's alright, that doesn't affect me. But when the story is about wanting to find Luna, you can't help but feel, do you really want to though? Like, you honestly are just having more fun with your bros in the open world. They could do this forever. I just want to see them always happy and having fun together forever. Anyway, we now go back to the journey where we're taking Iris to Kaim, the port city, where it's kind of amusing because after beating the game at launch, when I replayed this game twice since that day, I always stopped after fighting Aranea because mostly I was replaying it on PC to try out the mods.
Look, I got diddly squat to do what with Cindy taking care of the garage.
They're the best thing ever. It's even crazier that they officially sported mods in the start menu, and on Steam it has its own workshop, and they were promoting it with Cindy's face because you know what they were doing. But yeah, it's funny replaying these scenes with the mods. I mean, you can even give Luna more personality, if you want, by replacing Iris with her. But because of this and wanting to just see how Aranea's fight looked when I had in mods installed, I never actually replayed the game past this point. Hence why I never even heard of that dungeon before. I hadn't seen any of this since 2016. I do have small snippets of a Venice city and parts of the ending that are etched into my mind. Very strong feelings stuck with me. But yeah, this was like experiencing it for the first time again, because I really don't remember this part. So Iris is like, oh, okay, this is going to be a big story gate time. You're not going to go back to the open world, so finish up everything you want. And then Gladio
I have to
goes,
ask you to handle this boat business without me.
Say what?
got some business of my own to deal with.
Yep, being hit by Ravus wrecked his ego that much, he goes off on his own DLC. And yep, the bros have their own DLC, which I don't have on this PS4 version, so I'll have to swap over to PC, but I will cover it all after the main game, because that's how most people experience it. They beat the story, then you have to play the DLC. As was actually decided in 2016 to cut these little segments out during production to offer more content over the years, as it was a business decision, and I don't like it. I was willing to forgive, the movie and anime beforehand because there was no game out for us to play. You could just watch this instead of the game. But taking parts out of the game and then releasing them later that you have to pay for is so bad and baffling. It's why for this channel I at least wait 3 years to cover new games, because if I want to do an in-depth video on a game, but there's suddenly new DLC which fixes the game's story, which this game's DLC does do, it's very important DLC, so then my video is invalidated. And I'll be like, what is up with that? Come on! So yes, I will be covering it later in the video, but yeah, for this section, Gladio is just gone, doing his own thing. As we see Luna looking sad, reading our message, still not wanting to use a cell phone to call us. So now you and the remaining bros are going to a dungeon to find Mythbook to help Sid repair the boat.
You ready?
See what I mean when the Empire doesn't do anything to the civilians? But Ardyn comes in like, oh, you're gonna need an escort to find that Mythbook. How about the lovely Aranea? Let's go!
You're the new recruits they sent over for special training. Nice cover, runaway prince.
Thanks.
Oh, come on.
Hold down the fort.
You got it, Lady A.
Hold down the fort.
We will.
Wow, Biggs and Wedge sound pretty cool in this game. Not sure about the outfit though.
Man, how far does this go?
Yep.
Oh no, the audio cut out. Yeah, it's one of those games where if you move a bit too quickly through the scripted area, it's gonna play the next audio and it just cuts out whatever you were listening to.
Can I just...
It'll hold you. Famous last words.
Demons, till death do us part.
Guys, you want to join me over here? Aranea talks about how the Empire is capturing demons here, which makes sense. We know how they were using demons in warfare, but she says they are somehow turning them into the Magitech soldiers that we were fighting. And she doesn't like any of this and is considering leaving the army and becoming a mercenary again. And so at the end of this dungeon, we fight this giant dragon, and I got a wave of nostalgia because this dungeon was the one when I was streaming. I had my first single viewer during the stream. Yes, this long into the game, I had someone in chat, and it was a crazy experience for me. I'll never forget it. And also how they didn't return for the next day's stream. Oh man, my combat skills must have been even worse 9 years ago. So Aranea says goodbye.
And before I forget, His Excellency instructed me to give you boys a ride back. If you need a lift, feel free to hop on.
Don't mind if I do!
How cute.
And we arrive back in Lestalem where the power has gone out from the generator and only you, the king who has no heirs, and it would be pretty inconvenient if you died here, is sent in to fight the demon. But then there is some other guy here and it's Gladio.
Yep.
He's back. And will he say what he did? Will he show us maybe a new weapon he got or new skills he learned? Hello? Anyone there? And so we can finally go on the boat. And I'm thinking, oh, this could be the final time I'm in the open world. I should do that other big collab quest that's still in the game.
Yikes!
Oh,
That is the
Lordy.
most humongous chocobo I've ever seen.
Get off me!
So you need to buy some special greens for the chubby bird and save Yajime, a cat girl from the game Final Fantasy XIV, the MMO. Yes, this is very shocking because everyone is a human in this game, and she is clearly not. Well, I don't want to say anything, but that's not your normal eyes, right? And she says, my teleporter is stuck inside this enemy base, so we gotta go save her.
Never mind. Where are you?
Inside the wall.
I don't know what that is.
Where you got jumping puzzles. Reminder, jumping with X is very annoying. Thankfully, you do get to warp to checkpoints if you fall off. And so you and the bros gotta fight what I'm guessing are FF14 enemies. I haven't played much past the base game, so I don't really understand a lot of the references, if there are any. As you fight these guys who use some mechs.
Hell yeah!
Impeccable.
Kojima also helps out in the fight with some super duper healing, and then you gotta fight Garuda from Final Fantasy XIV, the actual one from their world which they summoned here, and it was a tough fight. I was very underleveled because I think you're meant to do this near the end game. Don't look at the side here. I played the rest of the game in normal difficulty, okay? I'm good at video games, ladies. And so you summon your Garuda to obliterate their one. And now you get to summon her into your world, which is kind of crazy. They added a whole nother god in this DLC. There's only 6 gods and Garuda is not relevant to the story, but like other FF games, they will have these bonus summons if you do these side quests. So it's kind of like that. And job done, where you can now buy very strong weapons from the cat.
Hey, wanna grab a picture while we're all here?
Sure, why not?
A picture?
Yeah, it'll be a great addition to the old scrapbook.
Oh, we cannot show this to Luna. And so I did some more quests and failed at fishing with Gladio and really wanted this mystical cup noodle cutscene. So I went back to Lestalem, where
I picked something up at the market the other day?
I think so.
Well, this is for you.
What?
Oh, so you can throw that in battle to be like a decoy. Well, keep your eyes peeled when I remember to use it later in the video. And so finally, I get that promotion of the cup noodles.
Any food you make tastes better when you use good ingredients, right? Then, if you take something already delicious like cup noodles and add in the finest, freshest ingredients, what do you get? The ultimate flavor experience. So I ask you, Noct, what's your favorite ingredient?
Yeah, so like Audi, a lot of companies paid to be in this game and the whole production, to help with the cost, and this is just hilariously funny and out of place. And it actually angered a lot of people. Why can't we ever have fun in our JRPGs now? People just get angry every time.
When it came to hawking cup noodles in the game, we did it kind of tongue-in-cheek because we definitely wanted to respect our audience's intelligence, and we thought it was a playful tap on the fourth wall, so hopefully they enjoyed that.
I love how in my notes I really wanted you to see the devs talking about the cup noodles.
Hey, isn't that...
Isn't what?
Just my imagination.
Oh, I see it! And so you're meant to hunt a behemoth to use its meat in the cup noodles.
All right, we did it!
Oh yeah, that's a good cut of meat. Can't wait to see.
And yep, thus ends one of the greatest marketing segments ever.
Cup noodles even more.
Perhaps we truly can't improve upon perfection.
It's not about finding the single best ingredient.
Makes you appreciate how delicious these noodles really are.
I know I sure do.
I gotta say, Aranea really impressed me today.
With her outfit?
Well, yeah, that too.
Prompto, stop saying my thoughts out loud. And so we finally get to leave, where Cora's like, sorry, I didn't save your father. Sid rambles on about how old he is and how you bros better stay bros for life and let nothing ruin it as we leave. Why, see her! She's apparently pretty rare in the photos, which adds to that feeling the devs wanted. If you spotted the cryptid, you would want to show it online, which is, promotion for the game. Which is even more funny is that Lara Croft is a even rare photo bomber. Yep, you could be playing the game with your anime hot guys, and bam! British lady! It's kind of hilarious how many people really think she ruins the photos of the bros. So we ride on a boat in real time, which is crazy, but yep, that's the real distance to that place of Altisha. You could just sit through it all if you wanted. As we get some lore on how Sid met Regis and talking about what Ardyn's true goals could be, because he keeps helping us out, even though he's a bad guy.
And when he does come to our aid, I see only condescension in his eyes.
Yeah, can't argue with that.
Ever think you think too much?
Sometimes.
And so we enter Altissia, the city on water. And man, when this music played, I got more flashbacks because I associated this song with this place and how in awe I was of playing this game in 2016. It was just so vibrant and detailed, this area. I had never been to Europe back then, and seeing this is what I imagined Venice to be. And so anytime I hear this song, it makes me a little emotional. Hilariously then, this song doesn't even play in the city. Yep, it's only in the entrance, and you hear this instead. My brain is so funny. Well, why did I think this was the song that just plays on repeat when you walk around? Where I guess is a good point to touch upon the presentation of Final Fantasy 15, where it was made on the Luminous engine, a custom engine for this game, built from the ashes of FF13's Nightmare Crystal Tool engine, where it has its challenges still, and it's been pretty documented how hard it was to make stuff on the engine, which is why Square has mostly moved on to Unreal Engine, where it's easier to reuse assets and find people who know how it works. But even with that, this engine is crazy because of how much detail they put into every character's model. The face, the hair, the pores on the skin, it still holds up today. It's crazy the amount of polygons that each model has. Now, the animations, I would say, apart from the hyper-real CGI cutscenes, they're not that stellar and don't really make full use of the cutscenes, because I would say Arkham Knight from 2015 does a way better job of how characters emote. But I'm still amazed at how the only bad thing I can say about this engine is the damn loading times. I rarely had any glitches. It was working all now, and you have these super detailed environments and landmarks. The world felt very distinct in how it was influenced by our real world, but this fantasy setting. I mean, you have these enemies that are designed to feel more modern, but have that mix of fantasy on them, like the knights of the king's castle have some motif on them. Aranea, she looks sleek and modern, but then has this big ass armor visor. Luna's dress being so pristinely white. Okay, I gotta mention it. There's another brand placement here, as the Vivienne Westwood designed her wedding dress, which you can see in Altissia since the wedding was called off. They display it here. Wow, I can't wait till I'm married and I wear a Vivienne Westwood. And then you have the boys' outfits, which suit all their personalities so much, mixed in with that regal, expensive attire. I remember seeing recently on Twitter discourse how guys would hate wearing this to their wedding, and I'm thinking, oh, that is 100% what Noctis would wear to his if he wanted to marry Luna.
Sans, let's think about the ceremony.
A fine idea.
Yeah, I'll think about it.
But then to the voice acting, it's kinda hilarious because Overwatch, that also came out in 2016, and two main voice actors of the boys are in that game. Yep, Junkrat's voice is Gladio, where it turns out he doesn't always sound like that.
Pull yourself up!
My name's Chris Parson.
And then you have a British man.
Most fun one is just variations of Noct in his name.
Noct. Noct! No.
And then you have Ardyn, who was voiced by Reinhardt in Overwatch, and man, what a 10 out of 10 performance. It suits his character so much, this suave trickster. Seriously, one of the greatest video game voice acting performances ever. And Prompto is the voice you have heard in other Labrador-sounding characters, and Noctis with Ray Chase, who really does that good apathetic nature of his personality so well. Oh wow, the voice actors even tried inbuilt PS4 streaming this game. They're just like me!
I've come up with a new recipe.
I backed you into a corner! All right, Nox. That's it! I've come up with a new recipe!
And so then to the music, with Yoko Shimomura composing 80% of this game with some help from a Final Fantasy 13 two-all-timer. But still, I can't stress how good she is at composing. And remember, this was my first big Japanese game with a score that I wasn't used to hearing. In fact, I actually don't like orchestral soundtracks in games because I never feel like they suit the mood. It feels like a big over-the-top thing. But oh my god, this soundtrack is stunning. To the point that I think this waltz track, when I heard it back then, is the reason I like waltz songs in other games like Undertale or Elden Ring. Even this song, where I thought for the longest time the opening part was just the best bit, I actually found now I like the later bits on replay. I'm still finding more to these songs that I like the more I listen to them. And I can't get over how perfect that summon song is, how they always time the drop the moment the impact hits, making you feel like you just obliterated the enemies balls. There is so much weight and emotion to this soundtrack. But yeah, that's kind of hilarious how my favorite song in the entire game doesn't even play in the area I thought it did 9 years ago. As now you get to explore Venice, where you take gondola rides around and check out the things that tourists would do.
Bene. All right, if you could stand right there. There, have a look.
Wow. Wait, that's me? But...
That says you did a fine job capturing our most prominent features.
My nose is not that prominent.
I love this stupid game so
I
much.
wonder, is she really gonna leave the army?
You seem quite smitten with her.
Which one is it?
One is what?
Her or Cindy?
RNA or Cindy?
Don't make me choose!
Oh, wow. Okay.
And in this place, you got the Colosseum, where you got gambling in a JRPG. Let's go! I love losing money that isn't mine. As, yeah, you can get some really good rewards for it, and you can bet on the animals, like who would win in the fight, and then you can cheer yours on with this Vuvuzela for some health boosts.
You're sharp today.
Sharper day.
What the heck did you say, Noctis? Was that 2010 slang?
Hey, Noct, how often do you go fishing? And Noct goes, every day. And that was how it was written in the script, ERRYDAY. We were like, are we really gonna make this that contemporary? And we'll see if it's in the game.
Sharper day.
And if I told you I spent a lot of hours here, so yeah, I never pick the herbivores since their attacks are very slow, and usually the ones with many creatures but they are not too scrawny will always win because they attack faster and you got some more backup bodies. And yep, I played this so long the game's timer changed many days. I was spent in-game days playing this. Hey, it's the royal funds, it ain't my money. We gotta enjoy this bachelor party. And then we learn from this bar that this guy who also fought with our dad in, you know, that pixel art game, is that the mayor of this town says, yeah, we have Luna here, but we can only help you get her if you help us. So we gotta go to the palace to discuss a deal.
Oh, man. My arms are killing me. Ugh.
Do I dare ask why?
You know, just been pumping some iron, getting them gains.
Yeah, I think this group's only got room for one musclehead.
Then Gladio better step aside, cause these guns shoot to kill.
And these discussions are super high stakes, with Luna's life on the line.
Are you and Wescombe lovers?
So I don't think you get a bad ending for picking the wrong option. You're just told to evacuate the citizens as the Empire is coming in to capture Leviathan, the other sleeping god here in the city. And that is why Luna was here. She just wants to talk to it. So when it comes out of its slumber, the Empire is going to charge in and try to capture it. So, you know, we got to evacuate the civilians. Okay, pretty good deal, but can we see Luna as a sign of good faith? Oh, don't worry. She's there on the loading screen. And then we see Luna give a speech, and Noctis is there in the crowd, and Luna sees him, but doesn't motion to him more. No wave, no nothing. No Romeo and Juliet, the lovers finally see each other after so many years apart. Hey Jimmy, give me a romance with a whole lot of nothing. This is really one aspect of the game that needs more work, as yeah, it's really hard to invest in these two when the game doesn't even give that many scenes showing why we should care, when other characters seem like best friends with Noctis as soon as he meets them. So begins the ritual where Luna is summoning Leviathan and trying to talk to the god, but it goes, WTF, you woke me from my beauty sleep, and constantly attacks her. So Noctis is running towards her, and this is hilarious because remember 2013, that E3 trailer, the one that changed the name of the game, the one that, you know, convinced me to buy this game and become a fan of JRPGs and change my life forever? Because I remember Noctis would run inside buildings as Leviathan attacked. Well, that's not in the game. Yep, they completely redid it from the trailer. Look, I know inside of the buildings is more intensive on development, but it's just hilarious to me. This single part that I got into JRPGs, this single video file, it's in my head like, whoa, Noctis is dodging and there's like tables and fancy ceiling lights and there's water attacking and there's soldiers everywhere. That was never real. Also, spoilers start here with the twists and turns and other things. Either way, you get separated from the bros and have to fight Leviathan, which you know is a really tough fight. You just hold circle and then you get A+ rank. This game is really not that difficult. And Luna helps us recover, but then Ardyn comes over and stabs Luna, leaving her to die, where she's still thinking of others and heals Noctis as we pass out. And then we get a dream of Luna saying that she's always there for us and gives us the ring of the Lushai. As we wake up and Ignis has now lost his vision. Oh, how did that happen? DLC? Yeah, you'll get to see what he was doing while you were fighting Leviathan, and it's really cool DLC, but we'll talk about that afterwards. So yeah, our smartest party member now cannot see. As weeks later, we are now on a train to the capital of Niflheim to try and get our crystal back. Noctis is super depressed and refuses to wear that powerful ring, which angers Gladio, as how Noctis is handling Luna's death is not how a king should do it, and is showing that he is not ready to lead the kingdom, and that Ignis had to suffer all this for Noctis, so we can just wander the train alone.
I saw the way you were looking at her.
I wasn't looking at anyone. Want to head to the dining car?
So you can feast your eyes on that other girl.
Give me a break. I'm just hungry is all.
As now you stop at this place where there is another royal arm, and the gang reluctantly say they should go and get it, and man, this chapter sucks because you've lost all the road trip vibes. Everyone hates each other. Prompto doesn't know how to deal with all these friends fighting. It's such a mess. Even you can do the side quest finding these chonkers for this lady, and Noctis still acts mad.
Why not teach them to stick together?
Maybe someone ought to teach you some manners.
And because Ignis cannot see, he walks slower, and the other two ask Noctis to slow down. But if you don't...
Is it too much to ask the royal procession sticks together?
Too much to ask you to shut it?
When you go inside and fight, no, not the tentacle thing. Well, let's burn its lineage to never come back. And you get the royal arm, and then you go back on the train where Ignis is talking about how he's overheard that people are saying the nights have been longer, something called the Star Scourge, which is slowly taking over the world. And when nights are longer, the demons come out to play. They love the nighttime. And you know, with the Empire trying to grab the gods, it's been disrupting the balance of the world. Well, I mean, you also plucked a few of them out of the world into your body, like Leviathan joined you, so I don't know what happened to the Venice city. However, the train gets attacked by the Empire, and you gotta fend them off with Prompto. Till then, you're back on the train, and it looks like Ardyn is there. It was him. He killed Luna. It was him all along. Wait, what happened to Prompto? Why don't we save him? Will we see him again? Oh, not again. As Ardyn tricked you into pushing him off, because he can pretend to look like other people. And so to finish the monsters off, we call on Leviathan to give the train a car wash. And so in Tenebrae, Luna's hometown of floating islands that we don't get to explore, we are in the linear second part of the game, remember? Where we meet Araneo, who is now with the Empire, to save the civilians and evacuate them. As we learn from Biggs and Wedge that the Empire is a ghost town. The civilians are hiding themselves as the demons just roam the streets. Because in the demon labs in the Empire, the demons and Magitech soldiers they were experimenting on went rogue and broke free. And that's how people believe the demons spread across the world from this lab. And we speak to Luna's maid, I guess, who says Ravis actually isn't a bad guy. He was always on his sister's side. He was just doubtful that Noctis could be the proper king, and that's why he never accepted us. And he was telling Luna to stop helping us out, as talking to the gods was slowly killing her. And Noctis learns from this random NPC that Luna was looking forward to the wedding. Wow. Gee, couldn't we have learnt that beforehand? Or from a main character? Oh, you think you know everything, huh? Anyway, back on the train with Biggs and Wedge driving, but then a blizzard stops us and we find Shiva's corpse, as the Empire apparently killed the Ice God. Noctis though sees Ardyn on the train and wants to know his deal. Why did he do what happened to Prompto? Why did he kill Luna? However, Gentiana shushes his trickery and reveals herself to be the actual Shiva, the god of ice, and oh my god! He talks about how years ago, the gods were protecting humans from the demons. However, Ifrit, the fire god, gave humans the gift of fire. And also he was in love with Shiva. Oh, that's adorable. However, this fire gave humans new tech, and with that advancement, they spurned the gods, and this angered Ifrit, so he wanted to burn all of civilization. And so the other gods had to gang up on him, and after the battle, they all fell into a slumber, which is where we find them. Shiva says how Ifrit was being controlled by someone who wants the world to go into darkness.
Deliver this world from darkness and grant my love release.
I promise I will.
And we get more scenes showing how Luna loved Noctis, and I'm pretty sure this was patched in. I think this whole scene was, and yes, it does fix up some stuff. I just feel, you know, you could have had some more scenes before Luna's death to make it more impactful to the player, get to know her more instead of just these few scenes as kids. You know, you could have had her say she's looking forward to the wedding.
There was so much she wanted to say. So much I wanted to say. And now, I'll never have the chance. I'm so sorry.
Such is the might of the gods. But then I remembered I'm immortal. Such is my blessing and curse. Your attack hurt me, nevertheless.
Zegnortus, an Imperial megafortress said to be impregnable.
With Prompto and the crystal inside it.
What goes in must come out.
And this action by Ardyn seems to have jammed Noctis and the two guys' weapons from summoning. I mean, because even with the crystal gone, I guess Noctis had the power still, he could lend it out to his bros, but now they lost it. Where you gotta get in your car and run from the demons into the capital, where after a weird driving segment, you crash, and the expensive car is no more. So the goal is to now find the crystal, and the bros seem okay with each other. Oh, we got our, you know, energy back and synergy. Oh, come on! Yep, you were split from the two, and this is how it was in the base game, the infamous Chapter 13, where you played as Noctis alone, and that's what it'll do again, but yeah, they added a patch in addressing the criticism of this chapter, letting you play as Gladio to see what those two were doing. Keep in mind that route does spoil a lot of things, and it's meant for people who have already beaten the game, but yeah, there's kind of no indication stopping new players from accidentally wanting to play as Gladio. And Noctis alone finally looks at the ring. Okay, another complaint. There is way too much sniffling in this game! And sniffing. You hear it a lot more in these chapters, and it's so distracting, this ASMR moaning they do. But yes, Noctis puts on the ring and gets the power of the gods. Since you can't use any weapons, so you can now use it to suck the life force from enemies. And if you hold it down when you got a full MP bar, you can literally Thanos snap enemies out of existence. Now you make your way through the demon lab, where you hear Ardyn taunting you overhead, and you see visions of Prompto running forward. And of course, more scares of the jumping variety. Where imagine me, never played a horror game, and I'm still very scared of them. I hated this chapter. I also don't like it when games make your character alone from the party for some reason. There's no one being able to share the scares with you. Back in the caves, it was all fun because it's like, oh, all four of us are going to a haunted amusement park. Oh, that's so scary. But this...
It stinks.
And it goes on for way too long. You're meant to avoid the robots and hide in the alleys like a horror game. Well, I guess it works. I mean, hiding around, they don't seem to get you. Oh, fuck. And turns out, this is actually more manageable now. Yep, the patches over the years, apart from that story branch I'll get to, actually fixed up this route where you couldn't jog before. The ring took longer to charge up its attack, so yeah, playing this at launch was just horrible to play through. The mood and what they were going for, it's fine to show Noctis alone, from help, you know, for once in his life not having people around him. The execution of it was not fun. But we learn here in the lab that there is disease turning humans into demons. And then the Empire would turn those turned demons into Magitech soldiers for their army. So all the robots that we were fighting were former civilians of the Empire. And he says something about clones as well. As then we see Ravis, where he had our dad's sword, and letters to Luna that he had written, showing that Ravis had helped Luna even flee in the first place. Oh well, rip Bozo. And yeah, you only learn what happened to Ravis here from the patched route. And so deeper down we go till we almost die, and then...
That was close.
The hell did you get here?
You're welcome.
Thanks.
And then we all say Prompto.
Tell me, were you worried about me?
No.
Don't tell me you still think that I'm Ardyn.
It's not like that. I knew the real you wouldn't kick the bucket so easily.
I couldn't. At least not until I got to lay a guilt trip on you in person.
Yeah.
The thought of that alone gave me the will to survive.
I'm sorry.
Don't be. Everything's all right now.
Well, glad that's all wrapped up. Bit abrupt, but the gang are all seemingly back together. And as we go in and open this place, from my notes, well...
So, MTs, they've got those code prints. Just like I do.
Do they? Never looked.
Yeah. So, as it turns out, I'm one of them.
Where did that come from? In my entire playthrough beforehand, I don't think I remember any of this. And the whole playthrough of the game, nothing of this was hinted at. The only thing I found now was from the Assassin's Creed DLC from someone else's playthrough, since I can't play it. Was this common knowledge that I just missed random dialogue in my open world? The anime prequel never said this either.
Since when does where you come from matter to you? You never once treated me as a prince.
It's got you there.
And because I clicked the generator instead of the throne first, I missed some dialogue on them talking about the throne. But yeah, I remember King Lidolus of the Empire, the big bad guy who said in part the war that's invading our kingdom. He's dead. Yep, that's it. Super abrupt ending. He's just gone. And yeah, what even king puts their throne room down here of all places? But with the generator off, we can finally use our weapons again. But we get attacked. And I whip out that Thanos snap and then get stuck into the railing. Thankfully, the fourth strike saved me. And while going through, we fight the king. Oh, hi. But he's a demon. And he wants the ring, so then we kill him. Yay, we stopped the Empire's war. But that's not the end. There's now Ardyn revives Ravus as a demon creature, and he begs for us to kill him. So we do that in one of the tougher fights. Lots of big AoE attacks. But then more demons spawn after we kill Ravus, and it's overwhelming. So the gang say for us to run ahead to the crystal while they hold the demons off. And it was so funny because I was in that danger phase and then I couldn't run to the door, and so the enemies just killed me. I couldn't even use items because I think the game didn't think that someone would need them here. And we find the crystal.
Unharmed by the light, the chosen king.
Can't knock this shut up for a second. So Ardyn says he was a healer way back in the day, but was demonized by the king of his time, who was his brother, who then became the king of Lucis. As yes, Ardyn is related to us, which is why he has a grudge against the lineage of Lucis. And so we get sucked into the crystal, where this is totally a cutscene they added in a patch. No voice acting or sound effects, I guess to show how incredibly invincible Ardyn is, and he runs away. And so in the crystal we meet Bahamut, the sort of leader of the six gods, and even more funny, he didn't speak English in the original launch.
So it is ordained.
He spoke that god language that the others were doing, but they had to patch him in speaking English because, you know, this is kind of an important cutscene. You should probably understand it. Because if you didn't have subtitles on, you wouldn't know what he was saying. Yeah, they didn't think that some people would play the game without subtitles and just had him speaking a whole nother language. So Bahamut tells us how we are the chosen true king and that only we can banish the darkness at the cost of our life. Also, yeah, I love how Bahamut just seems to be a guy wearing a mask. Real pretty eyes he got too. And out we pop from the crystal 10 years later. Got a beard too. Wow, relatable. We have absorbed the crystal's powers, and then we find Umbra, who says our friends are waiting in Hammerhead. So we go back where everything is nighttime now. Demons everywhere. Oh, the long road trip is over.
Last man standing.
Oh no, not the Tonberry! Mini Kelsus is back for revenge! And yeah, no car, no chocobo, you gotta run all the way back! And you fight this wall monster, which is really a sick enemy design. I love the designs in this game. Bro, I'm single, just let me have this, okay?
Ichi.
But don't fret those tired legs. We get picked up by a random NPC, who then will just say his granddad's name was Jared. Huh. Doesn't ring a bell. He says how the bros have been fighting off the demons, and all humanity is held up in Lestalem, with the few surviving in Hammerhead, as we reunite with the bros.
Hey.
Hey? That's all you have to say for yourself after all this time?
Now this is realistic dude writing. You could not see a guy for 5 years and a hey is all you need. But wait, no Cindy? No bro dialogue too? Yeah, it's kind of weird here as it's meant to be the final, get all your potions before you go to the final dungeon. So you can't really interact with the others and you just talk to Talcott about what you missed. Even though you're on Hammerhead, you don't see Cindy ever again, or Sid. And let's be honest, that dude's long gone. You don't even get to explore this world to see what happened to it. This is just a checkpoint before the final dungeon, as we have our final meal together.
Then, if you take something already delicious like cup noodles and add in the finest...
Where we head back to Insomnia, the capital, finally getting to run around in that city, where these monsters are super tough. Like, I sent out Ramua to nuke his ass and he's still fine. And the final blockade in front of the palace, a behemoth. And I remember, wait, I got that ring. Yes, my precious.
Keep it up.
So here, Ardyn has kept the crystal. We only got some of its power in those 10 years, but he has the real thing and we have to stop him. But he summons his pet Ifrit to attack. And yeah, finally, we reached the first scene in the game. And in this fight, I wasn't low on health, but the game is like, buddy, you really should summon here. So I did. And oh my god. I forgot how nutty they made the summons. Like, I thought FF16 did a good job of this, but completely forgot the awe-inspiring nature they made of these gods back in this game, which is tough. You fight him on the ground and he keeps dashing away till he gets weak enough and then you summon Shiva. How do people not like this game, man? This is so peak! And so we enter the throne room.
Not much farther.
Well, shall we, Noct?
Yeah, but, hold on a sec. Prompto, can I see your photos?
Yeah.
I just need one. To take with me.
Oh. Yeah. I get it. You can take whichever you like.
A shot of us in combat might be cool.
Gotta take one from our zany adventures.
I wish I had a photo of everywhere we went. But this'll do.
The camera can only hold so many pictures.
And no car like the Regalia. Took us around the world and back.
Ah, yes. It wouldn't have been a road trip without her.
Think of all the places we've been. All the shops along the way.
Always something new around every corner.
And I can't even write something witty here. This is the culmination of the most important feature of the game, the photos that the AI was taking randomly of your game, optimized for shots that were majestic, action, charming, hilarious, all showcasing your thoughts and feelings in these pictures once more.
So how can we possibly persist on doing the storytelling with cinematics linear level script when players spend more than 99% of the time running or fighting monsters inside the world map with their friends? So if you want to do storytelling of Brotherhood and bonds inside open world map, do it in the gameplay. I believe photos are time machines. It can bring us back to the very moment the picture was taken, and it stirs our memory and make it recall the old day. And it tells us that that good old day will never, ever come again. And that strong punch, that strong emotion pulse is strong enough to make the player who are really into our game cry if we're lucky. and I think we're lucky.
It's just crazy looking back at this game and your journey from where you started, where you went, and to only take one photo with you into the final room. Because Noctis knows that he has to give his life to save the world from darkness, so the bros will never see him again. This one photo will embody all of that friendship with him. This road trip condensed into this one rectangle.
Yeah.
And so we enter the throne where Ardyn sits, making a mockery of the dead. What the heck is that, Nyx Ulrich? No!
Nyx's true arcana is death.
And he doesn't want us to use the bros to help us fight. And that bachelor party was wild. Everyone is hungover. And so we fight him where he darts around. He doesn't hit too hard, he just keeps dashing, so you gotta keep refilling your MP and then striking in. It was funny because I actually got the really rare Leviathan summon in this one fight.
I'm truly disappointed. Can't you do any better than that?
Yeah, it's an interesting final boss. As then you get the second phase where he also has the power of the royal arm since, you know, we are related. And we fight where it's very anime, very hard to know what's going on.
That is how you would end it.
So we fell Ardyn and farewell our friends.
This time, you can rest in
2 pieces.
Godspeed. And take care. Majesty.
And as we sit, we call upon the past kings with the Regis watching, and they attack our soul, sending it to the afterlife, destroying the ring, where we find Ardyn in limbo and erase the Star Scourge from him with the help of our Lucian army and Lunafreya too. And so the sun rises again, light restored to Eos, and after the credits, we see another scene.
Knowing this is it, and seeing you here now, it's more than I can take.
It's good to hear.
Well, what can I say? You guys are the best.
I will say I do wish, you know, this was before in Hammerhead we actually got to see this, because the emotional highs of this game already have hit with that photo scene for me. So this scene didn't hit as hard because, you know, it's a flashback, but it's still very well done. And then we see us on the throne with Luna with a wedding dress, you know, by that famous person, Regis pronouncing us husband and wife, as Luna sees the photo that we picked from Prompto's album, the one that's so special and holds so much meaning to us. You were gambling? Luna, please. It was for the bachelor party. It was just so fun and I want so much. And that's the main game where, man, I know of a friend who, after beating the game, just opened iTunes and Windows because it still works, okay, sure. And he had found the 50-minute rip of that Venice song he got in 2016 and just sat there listening to it for 15 minutes straight, letting all these emotions wash out. It was me, shut up! FF15 is not a perfect game. I mean, even a lot of these emotional scenes were just patched in to help improve the story from the base launch, making that worst chapter feel okay to play through because it was even worse at launch, and yet I love this game so much. If I didn't love FF13 2 more, this would be my favorite Final Fantasy game. And even then, because of this, I was able to start playing more FF games going back through the catalog, so I discovered my favorite game from this, all because I played 15. It had such a horrid long development phase, and the decision to split up its lore into media you had to watch beforehand. Even the important story scenes later were whisked out into future DLC plans. Its combat and gameplay still has so many issues, like man, they didn't even fix the jump and pick up item thing. But what it did do was give this world some uniqueness. Like there's never been a game to my knowledge on this scale with the photo thing, where it takes automatic photos throughout your journey and you can comment on it with the party before you're forced to pick one to take as your character dies. Like imagine if something like this happened in Baldur's Gate 3 or some other big story game with characters you loved so much. It's so unique of a feature and really sets itself apart from every game around it. It was one of the first games to do the open world style on the PS4 gen, before Zelda showed Ubisoft how to milk the formula. It had some swings and misses, but man, this road trip with the boys was so fun. The amount of things that they say unique to your journey, the way they act and help you in fights. Never have I seen a game where in its gameplay, it shows a more connected group of 4 friends. I mentioned that iTunes story because like how when I streamed this game, I started making voiced YouTube videos on another channel all the way back in 2016. Almost 10 years ago in this very room, I made those videos. And like Noctis after a 10-year skip, here I am on the other side, coming back to this world once again to give it my sending off. I think back to those many scenes and how I felt 9 years ago playing this, the feelings I had. I never experienced a game like this and everything was so fresh and exciting. And I'm still finding that same feeling with so many features this game has that no other game has even tried. And I'm happy to say this game still hits as hard as it did for me back then. And hopefully this video is doing justice to younger me because man, what the heck was I thinking when my video ideas were like this?
Wait, a guy on this list?
Gay!
Nice me.
I was really trying so hard to be noticed back then.
Like me liking Aranea and all you scrubs liking Worst Girl. Share this video if you enjoyed it and I'll see you, yes you, on the next video.
Gee, I wonder why my endings now say that line, huh? But that is not the end, as you got DLC, woo, let's go! Paying money for story closure! So yeah, I started my post-game time by really trying to see if I could play that Platinum demo. And look how busted this menu is on the PS5. I think the engineers of the console didn't even think some people would try to do this. Because I got it on PS4, it's in my library of my system, so I can see it there, but when I click on it, it just takes me to Final Fantasy XV's main page. Like it doesn't want to load it. And I went so deep into clicking these screens, trying to get this damn demo to work, because I know it's on my account. I remember playing it. Surely the PS5 can play PS4 demos. And then when I gave up, I had to press back to get out of all these nested files, and look what happens. Well, now you can start the game again with Umbro, who will take you back to any chapter if you want to replay it, or just sends you back in time to the world where you can finish up some side quests, which I did a few. I also realized there is a model viewer in the game, and hilariously, the devs blocked you from zooming in on any of the ladies. Well, the quest I wanted to try again was this big monster, where you hear rumbling and every NPC is worried about it, thinking it's an earthquake.
My buddy Dino's been searching for a scoop. Sounds pretty dangerous.
You mean that guy over there? So I run to where the tremors are and decide here is where I'm gonna try wait mode. You know how they tried to make it like a turn-based game because they wanted to please both fans, so it pauses the action where you can then pick who to attack in real time.
I'm going all out. Just don't get too...
This model is so funny! And so it turns out some giant beast is hiding under that mountain, and it's a giant tortoise. Yeah, and this is one of the longest fights in gaming history, because if you actually do it, which is doable, you know, if you got a spare...
And then when you actually battle him, it takes 3 real days.
What's the point of all this?
Well, now if you did some of these enemy bases, there's an optional one, and you'll get these 3 special items, which if you give to Cindy, she'll customize your car into plane.
Going down!
Well, it's a way to fastly travel the world, and you still gotta make sure you land it correctly. Yeah, I'm never using this again. Okay, time for the extra things, where firstly, let's go back to chapter 13 for that verse 2, the other side. What they thought was the most important thing to first patch in from a story point of view, which you now can access from the main menu. And yeah, you're back in the capital, but you get to play as Gladio with Ignis. And Gladio's combat, well, I'll explain in the DLC section, it's the same there. And it's kind of weird because it's like the AI hasn't been coded to be alerted to us instead of Noctis, as there's always this super lag on them spotting us. So then we see from the footage of Ravus confronting the Emperor, with him finally admitting that Noctis is the true king, which gets him expelled from the room. And then Ardyn, disguised as us, kills him and scatters those letters for us to find. So yeah, Ravus gets some more good guy points, but shame we won't get to see more of him. He kind of reminds me of those, you know, anime swordsman characters in JRPGs who will help you out even though they're bad, but maybe they are good sometimes. I guess RNA also fits that role too. But yes, then you fight the Emperor a little bit and he disappears, and then you save Noctis like in the main game, and there, that's it. All you did was just show more of the King Demon and then Ravus some more for some brownie points and then more evil Ardyn points. That's what was so important? I guess in the main game, they could have done a thing where to break up that Noctis section, because man, it is long going through all those hallways as and by yourself. They could have done it where you play as Noctis for a bit, and then it cuts to Gladio during chapter 13, so you have these 15 minutes of gameplay sprinkled in throughout Noctis's thing, so you don't feel so frustrated, stuck in hallway jump scare simulator. It just feels weird to go back to play this after the game in the main menu for 15 minutes. So time for the DLC, where the PC release actually comes with it all free, so I decided to use that for the 3 of them, where yeah, it's loading for me is longer than my PS5. I'll chalk that up to my old computer. And Twitch integration? I can stream this game again, that nostalgia! Wow, I love integration! As I discovered, the Comrades multiplayer DLC is actually still very playable. I previously thought the whole thing was just gone and I could never try it out, but it's here and hello? Anyone there? But you can still play with NPCs, as yes, they did add a multiplayer component to this game, where you can make your own character. I used some mods to try to make it look better from the get-go, where you await in the Skyrim car to see
his power remains, though.
Yo,
so we gotta put it to
the big guy
good use.
is back! You don't know how happy I was. I legit thought they were going to erase all the movie characters. I didn't even know that that was Nick's Ulrich's body in the finale until I looked it up. Yeah, wow, they referenced that movie heavily. And this is during the 10-year time skip where people are held up in Lasallum. You're part of the Kingsglaive and you fight monsters for resources and such. Bro, we get it. We're happy you're back too. These NPCs are so funny. Where, yeah, you meet some characters from the main game and you have to fix up electricity to unlock more of the city. You also get pictures taken by that guy. It's a fairly well done expansion for multiplayer feature, but yeah, there's no way I'm gonna find anyone to play with, and I don't trust these NPCs. Well, time to go to the toilet. I mean, play the Gladio DLC, which has its own menus and it starts during some camping trip.
I'm stuffed.
So the gang ask him, hey, remember that time when you ditched us? What happened? And so he recounts it, where you play through as Gladio with Core, you know, that super strong sword guy. And Gladio's combat is slow, heavy swings. We then build up this meter, and pressing Y does a different move. And the more attacks you do more damage, it scales up and goes down when you're not in combat. So you ask Core to help you complete the Trial of the Blade Master, who's another super strong sword guy. As it said, your father did it because you were all shields for the king. So, yeah, you just do it. Nothing else story-wise. You do learn this move where you can pick up slabs to whack them around, and it's never used in the main game. It's because they thought of this afterwards or during the dev time for the main game, so they weren't really going to implement it. So it's like, yeah, Gladio just will conveniently forget how he can do that in the main game. As you fight Gilgamesh for the honor or something. This one really wasn't wowing me. And yeah, he proves himself and gets a sword, where he can now use it in the main game if you play it after the DLC. But they tell you to beat the main game before starting the DLC, but then the best way to play this is actually to stop the game when Gladio leaves and then to play it, so then you get his weapon, then you can use it when he comes back. I don't know what they were thinking when they were making this DLC. And yeah, so Gladio told all this to the gang, so everyone knew this here, you know, in the finale. They were caught up on what Gladio did, but we didn't. Yet again, some feeling of disconnect with us in the group. The bros aren't telling us what they all did together, just like friends in real life. So next is Prompto, you know, after getting shoved off by Noctis. Where, oh, we see young Prompto talking about how he was an outcast as a kid. And then we see him in the cold. And yeah, this takes quite a while. And then we're picked up by the Empire and awakened in their base, where you get so much lore about the facility. Ardyn then gives us back our gun and says to meet our dad as we were born here. Where we find that Vishtail Besithia, you know, the guy that was leading the Imperial Magitech researcher you saw in like, 3 scenes in the main game? Maybe 2? And now he was producing soldiers from demonified humans that were turning from the virus. But actually, it wasn't from the virus. He was making human clones taken from his body that were demonified, and then he turned them into those robot soldiers. And yes, they all look like Prompto if he was bald, because they all had the same barcode tattooed on their wrist. And yeah, I guess Prompto has one.
You were cloned from this genius's genes, born of my own flesh and blood. You are but one of millions, created to serve our great empire in the Magitech infantry.
To serve you?
Yes.
I'm going to guess his DNA didn't think what would happen when his clones discover the quarter pounder. And yes, this links to what Ardyn said, that the army was made from clones here. Where Vishtail is turning himself into a demon, he's that kind of researcher. And yeah, he used his own DNA to make these infants so they would have enough for an army. And he's also affected by the Star Scourge, you know, the thing that's apparently making the nights longer. And so he wants the demonic powers to further humanity. Before he can infect Prompto, the clone shoots him. And yeah, this gameplay is very gun-centric. You got Stormtrooper aiming with the pistol, but you can then whack enemies in combat to nab their guns from the walls, where you got assault weapons, snipers, or even a bazooka. It's very refreshing, the combat to the main game, and pretty unique for a gun game. You know, this is set in Final Fantasy. We don't often get to play as people with guns in a third-person combat in this franchise. And then Aranea had infiltrated this facility on her own to find answers, and helps Prompto escape on a snowmobile, which we drive out. Wow, this takes me back. No, wait, even further back. And you're on this vast field where you can set up camp, and Aranea finds you, where she urges you to go back to your friends, but Prompto doesn't want to, because he's a clone Magitech robot that was kidnapped as a baby and then raised in Lucis. So he thinks the bros won't accept him, which is wild to me. You saw how close these guys were. You literally bathed with them. Okay, maybe not that, but they would never think that of you. Well, to be fair, this section was actually after Luna died, so the group dynamic, you know, wasn't the strongest. And I mean, Noctis did shove him off a train thinking he was Ardyn. So Aranea says, you must decide for yourself, as Prompto the next morning is wandering around and hallucinating himself as a robot, and Noctis wanting to kill him. And then we see how he was alone as a kid, where he befriended Luna's other dog, you know, sort of like in the anime. And Luna had asked him to be friends with Noctis. Gee, you ain't gonna sniff the letter again now? So he decides to help Aranea and take down whatever monster Vishtail is putting his soul into. And you break back in, fighting alongside her, which is cool. They have these unique animations for the two. And what I can say about this, it feels very Resident Evil coded. You know, not the scary part, but the action part. As you find a Magitech animal fusion, you kill that, and then you find that evil guy's soul is in this mechanical worm, where now you gotta shoot it on a bike, and you know, it feels like the action RE games with a gun and big things and, you know, a turret section.
You alright?
Yeah. This is what I wanted.
Then say it like you mean it. You did good, kid.
Couldn't have done it without you, girl.
And yeah, in the credits, you then see Prompto captured. They don't really explain how he got to where we found him, you know, being all tortured, and then it ends. And you see Noctis apologizing for pushing him off, you know, fixing how abruptly they apologized in the main game. Again, another thing I wish wasn't in this DLC and was put into the main game. But this time, I feel this is so far removed from Noctis' story, I don't know how you could justify playing this for 2 hours separate from the main game after you push him off. Also, do remember at launch, you only played as Noctis, so it would have been kind of abrupt and shocking where you just cut away and for 2 hours you're playing as as Prompto, and then you never can play as him again. So I think it was okay to have it be in a separate menu option because the gameplay is so different, and this one has some real crazy lore, so I liked it a lot more than Gladio's. I just wish at launch, you know, they could have had it be in a separate menu. You didn't have to pay for it later and play it years down the line, and I'm only playing this, you know, now for the first time. And the lore implications, I mean, explained, where it was kind of a shock to hear that Prompto is just a clone in the original game. So it makes sense. And I guess I was always wondering why in the anime there was no one in the house. It was just him by himself. So I guess it does clear up things pretty nicely. And I do like the whole sci-fi tech and finding out these crazy conspiracy lore things in the game. Very FF7 remake coded with even the boss fights and such. And then finally to Ignis, where it starts as a flashback to him meeting Noctis for the first time, becoming his carer.
Take care of my son.
And it shows us back now in Venice, where you got separated during the Leviathan thing, as you can swim, and you have to reach Noctis, who is fighting the god, where Ignis will have to fight the troops from Caligo, you know, the guy who apparently killed Jared. If you remember, I've heard of the name, but I don't really know who they're talking about. But surprisingly, Ravus comes in saying he's turned on the Empire and is only here to help save Luna, but he still doesn't think Noctis is the true king, as this was before Chapter 13. I know what you think, buddy. And Ignis' combat is super cool. You got 3 styles of the elements. Ice slows enemies, fire hits harder, and electric teleports you around. And you have that same damage increase combo as Gladio, and it's so fun going through it. And they even added a grapple hook to climb ledges and these zones of influence to lower the guards in small areas. You know, I can feel the Assassin's Creed in the DNA. They're at least not making things feel too linear. So he makes it to the 2 and finds that white dog Perna dead, who gives him a vision of the future, meaning Ignis knew that Noctis would die later in the game. As the both of you find Noctis unconscious and Luna dying to heal him, Ravus gets so mad, blaming Noctis for now his sister's death, and then Ardyn disguised as Gladio arrives, but Ravus sees through this and protects Noctis and Ignis, where the ring falls from Noctis and you have a choice to join Ardyn or to protect your king. The protect is the right choice, and you put the ring on, and the gods give you their power for a price as you fight Ardyn, and then the power fades, and you lose your eyesight. But this whole thing scares off Ardyn, and Ravus is super impressed with you, as yeah, we then bring Noctis back, and Ignis will be like, oh, maybe can we stop this journey? I've been through a lot. But Noctis pushes on as the DLC ends, and you see in the future break time.
No, you're right. I mean, I wouldn't have made it all this way without you guys. Thanks for everything, Iggy.
So yeah, there's an explanation to what happened, and it's really fun gameplay-wise, but the craziest thing is that other option, as this becomes a non-canon ending, but kinda crazy in its execution, because when you think about it, FF15 is all about fulfilling your predetermined fate. You know how Noctis dying was his role as the true king? Nothing could change that. But this option is like, what if we don't do that? Bit of FF13 here. So you decide to follow Ardyn, who takes you to the main palace where the crystal is, and you find it. But then Ardyn says he lured us here to be his bait for Noctis, and he reveals his true name and says how he was actually meant to be the original King of Lucis, but the throne was stolen from him by his brother Somnus, who became the founder king. And the Star Scourge makes his soul immortal as he's lived for 2,000 years, wanting revenge on the crystal who threw him away. And you're made to believe that Ardyn was actually a good guy. You know, that he used his powers to help people from becoming demons, but then his brother backstabbed him and stole the throne. Like, Ardyn believes what he was doing was right, and his brother was in the wrong. And I'm believing it. He's got a really good voice, okay? I can believe whatever he said. However, Ignis knows Noctis will die as per that vision he saw, and so the world is nothing without his king. So he puts on the ring, and at the price of his own life, will fight Ardyn in this really tough fight, as he just keeps teleporting around or falling off the map. And so after winning, you're found dying by the gang, and Noctis asks the crystal to save us, and then goes into it for 10 years. And yeah, okay, we have our eyesight, and then when Noctis returns, you do the same thing as in the main game's ending. However, Noctis doesn't die, but it's not known whether he truly got rid of the darkness, but this is a happier ending to see Noctis alive once more. And that's the main 3 DLC of the Bros. An all pretty meh first one, cool premise and lore of the second one, and a really good third one. I do think, though, giving a happy ending is kind of just fan service, but you should know, the dev team were heavily listening to fan feedback post-launch. Hence, you know, that Chapter 13 fixes. They wanted to fix it up because everyone hated it. So they probably saw a lot of people wanting to see Noctis alive during the end, so put this alternate ending in just to make people happy, which is nice. But you know, it's also nice if you could stick to your vision. I mean, it is optional, but when you're paying money for these DLC, you're gonna try to see all the options. You're not really gonna ignore this, you know. But I guess that is why they made more DLC, because yeah, this isn't over. We're almost there. As we get one more with Ardyn, explaining the villain's whole ordeal. So it starts with I get it. Where Ardyn has killed and pretended to be this Lucian officer called Mars, and he sneaks into the city under the disguise on Founders Day celebration. You know, it's a day celebrating his brother stealing the throne. And so you're thinking, did the brother really do that? And okay, I never played this DLC before, and so I had to actually buy it because it's not free on the PC release. You know, they were still pumping these things out, and so I just bought it and jumped in after the other DLC, you know, not suspecting. But turns out, Square Enix, in all their majesty, had released a 15-minute anime prologue that you're meant to watch before playing this, and I only knew of this afterwards because I was trying to look up explanations, because I was like, wait, the videos are showing anime Ardyn younger in my video game? In front of my salad? But yes, the anime shows what happened 2,000 years ago. Ardyn was the firstborn. He had healing powers where he could transfer illnesses from others into his body. And that's where he picked up the Star Scourge. He absorbed it from someone, which now made him immortal, which led to him being rejected by the gods and his family. Like, wow, unlucky you. You just happened to pick it up randomly from someone. Now you're infected. Good job, bozo. Yeah, so he was then getting influenced by this evil thing, but still believing he was in the right. But his brother saw this and knew that this was not the way to be a ruler, and made it so that Ardyn was the true monster to the people. Like, Somnus is not a good guy that he thinks he is, or this is all from Ardyn's point of view. I don't really know. I'm just saying Ardyn wanted to heal the sick, and look at Somnus's face. He knows what he's doing. So Ardyn just doing what he's, you know, trying to help people, and then the love of his life is killed by his brother, and then he gets betrayed by him. So he's like, you know what? Since you want me to be evil, fine. Okay, I'm evil! And plotted years of revenge against Somnus' lineage, i.e. Regis and Noctis. As we now see, when Regis was king, Ardyn summons Ifrit and sets ablaze the street. As we flash back to after the anime where he was set in captivity on this island because, you know, he is immortal, Somnus didn't know how to kill him, so he just locked him away. But now, Vishtail, you know, that Magitech guy from the Empire, freed him and brought him back to his place after reading about this immortality guy that the Lucians had hid away. Maybe this guy could help us win the war. And during this, he learned that Ardyn can turn people into demons while also experiencing their memories. And in the gameplay, you become this crazy fast dodging guy where you suck up the powers, but also sword wielding. And after you get a certain hits in, you can then suck up the enemies.
It seems to me the cure for your exhaustion is comprised of 2 things, one of which is rest.
Oh? And the other?
Is me.
And we see again Somnus killing Era, the love of your life, and then we wake up now captured by the Empire, where you can read up on many lore about how Vishtail did all the experiments, you know, how he made his army, where Vishtail wants us to help him in the war. He even shows us how demons were created by the Star Scourge. They even explain why Ardyn is so rugged up, because the Star Scourge in his body doesn't like the sunlight, just like the demons. And even a frozen Ifrit that they had captured. And he wants Ardyn to demonify the god so that he can get the god's memory. And man, this guy has an even deeper voice so it was very distracting with how good a voice it was. I couldn't pay attention.
I found something most interesting on the Rock of Ravito.
How do people sound like this? But then the Lucian attack, and Ardyn remembers what Somnus did, as now Ifrit awakens, and so Ardyn demonifies him, seeing all the memories. He also sees Era's memories, how she back then had told Somnus that Ardyn was chosen by the gods to be the true king, and so she blames herself, and that's why Somnus betrayed Ardyn. He got jealous, and it's only because she told Somnus. Because if she didn't say anything, Somnus maybe wouldn't have betrayed him. So she begs Ardyn to punish her. Ardyn doesn't, but then is forced to watch Somnus kill her again and again. So with hatred, he submits to the Star Scourge, not caring if this is against the gods. He's just tired of this. And so he agrees to join the Empire to get his revenge, where he goes about spreading the Star Scourge, which is what turns people into demons. That was him actually doing it. It just wasn't a random disease that you heard in the main game. It was Ardyn traveling around, sucking up people, grabbing all their knowledge, learning as much about Lucis as he could, becoming more demonic himself. And so now back in the city, he is told to destroy the wall amplifiers for the Empire. And in this gameplay, you got the big city to explore. You can summon Ifrit to run about and mess about the place. And you got to go around Insomnia getting to the generators. You don't need to get all of them for the story, as you got to fight these really strong guards on top. And your gameplay has even more moves, even a skill tree too, where you can throw your swords at the enemies, and you're just meant to build enough hits without getting hit yourself to then have that demon fire option. Also hats! Yeah, you can buy hats to change your stats and look pretty goofy. I kind of didn't want to ruin the moves, so I tried to make them look as not out of place as possible. And so you destroyed the shields, but then you defy the Empire and go further in as you want to fight Regis to have him summon the old wall, you know, from the movie, the Wall of Old Kings, that are the statues, because Ardyn wants to fight Somnus. As Ardyn almost kills Regis, where the ring summons Somnus, as all the souls of past kings reside in the ring. When a king dies, that soul goes into the ring, hence why it is so powerful. And that's how you remember Regis was meant to convince the gods to let Aaron Paul wear a ring. And Somnus out here is like, oh, okay, you know what, I was jealous of you back then. Bro, you are more than jealous. Like, go off, Ardyn. Have your revenge. Screw this guy. And Ardyn is outraged. Somnus dared to try to be understanding after all he did. And after the boss fight where Somnus is a giant, it's not that hard. You can just hover holding circle and attack. And then you go to kill Regis to finish the lineage. But then Bahamut whisked you out of the dimension to give you a talking to. Because that's not your role. Your role is to cover the world in darkness, so that later down the line, a true king will be born and cleanse it, meaning you will die. That is your piece to end your immortality. Your whole point in life is to be evil, so that a descendant of the brother you hate who betrayed you will kill you and end your suffering. That is the only fate you have to look forward to.
That is the fate the gods have chosen to bestow upon me!
And you get a choice that doesn't change much, but either way it's pretty brutal, as Era tortures us into accepting this fate, and you feel even worse that seemingly Era was betraying us too. And so Ardyn just doesn't care. He wants revenge on everyone, and is gonna change the fate and try to kill the true king instead. And oh boy, what a DLC! At first, he had so many cool gameplay fights, from fast-paced action to a big spectacle, but then the lore, so much of it dripping everywhere. Oh my god, why is it on my feet? I want to say this here. I know them putting this DLC after the fact, but it's still crazy to me how everything mostly seems to click. Like, I know there's some plot holes here and there, and I'm sure there are more I didn't find, but they were just listening to fan feedback and making more things as they went, and it still sort of works in a cohesive way, as this DLC then leaves you very satisfied. And man, I don't know, maybe Ardyn was right all along. Which then leads to the tragic news. This was the final piece of content FF15 ever got. So after Ignis, the story of FF15 was done, and that was all said. But then they announced a second wave of DLC, which would be, you know, more of a news story thing. Some of them would be an alternate world line, like you saw in Ignis's one, to potentially show different things with the same characters, like how in a visual novel you get different routes, where you could see different sides to the same character if something was changed early on in the timeline. And Ardyn's one was just meant to be also to explain his story and be part of the canon, but the future DLC were meant to focus on different characters characters and make them playable in this alternate timeline. Most importantly, Luna giving valuable screen time that she needed in the main game. However, there was not a full clear reason, but Tabitha left the company around this time, and it is speculated as the reason for this cancellation. There was rumors of losses. There was also how the FF15 dev team was then moved internally to a Luminos Productions, a new studio that was gonna make a new AAA game. So, you know, don't focus on the DLC, you're gonna work on this instead. Yes, that game. But thankfully, we still get to know what could have been, as the DLC was released as a novel, with some concept art too. So yep, to learn the story, you gotta read! As the 3 DLC was episode Aranea, episode Lunafreya, and episode Noctis. So Aranea's one would have followed her, the Dragoon Queen, who had gone to the Empire and found it already fallen, and so goes about rescuing the civilians in that she finds Solara, the Emperor's secret granddaughter, who then 10 years later after the skip would become a fighter learning from Aranea herself and would be in the care of Biggs and Wedge. Wow. What great dad. Just hope she doesn't go upstairs into the attic and find their old uniform. Lunafreya in her DLC, after dying in the main game, is awoken by Bahamut, who revives her, telling her that, you know, Noctis is gonna die in the future. Ardyn also might not be defeated when that happens, so you, only you, can do it. Come on, you know, you need some more screen time. Only you can do it. And so she meets Solara from Aranea's DLC, where they then travel to Lestalem, where Luna learns that she can also absorb the Star Scourge like Ardyn. Gentiana then visits her in a dream saying Bahamut, he might be the bad guy, as he wants to wipe out all of humanity. As you know, back when Ifrit fought against humanity and was trying to set ablaze the whole thing, Bahamut actually wanted to destroy the other gods too, and Eos as well. Wow, no way, he was the bad guy the whole time? I knew those eyelashes were evil. And Luna awakes hearing that Aranea is being corrupted, fighting some demons, so she rushes over and sucks it up, turning her demonic, as then Solara captures the demon Luna and brings her to Lestalem to cure her. As now Gentiana warns Luna in a dream again that Bahamut is using Luna to gather darkness, so then he'll do a Terra Flare and destroy Eos, as he wants to destroy the damaged human demons, comparing them to wilted flowers. You know, you just gotta crop them out of the beautiful garden. And so Luna awakens and goes to Ardyn to ask for his help to stop Bahamut. Then in the Noctis DLC, he's still in the crystal for 10 years, and when he awakes, he meets Solara, who tells him of Luna's plan. Wow, they're really giving the Solara girl a lot of importance. Almost as important as the goat Jared! As Luna also heals Ifrit of the Star Scourge, making him not evil, and then forms a covenant with the Fire God, turning her into a demonic form, and as Noctis arrives, he has to fight her, while Bahamut is charging the Terra Flare. So Noctis convinces Ardyn to perform the True King ritual, you know, the one we see Noctis do in the base game, you know, to save everyone. And I guess Ardyn did always want to be True King, so Ardyn sacrifices himself and stops the Terra Flare, cracking Bahamut's mask and revealing he looks a little like Somnus and Noctis. As Noctis thinks maybe that's why Bahamut preferred Somnus over Ardyn all the way back then, because he looked like him. And now the world recovers, Noctis and Luna wed in a happy ending. And it's crazy, like imagine this gameplay, where I'm sure this would have cost a lot of money, but it would have been insane in terms of the fight and spectacle. Oh man, imagine the music they would have composed for this fight. So yeah, turns out the true villain was Bahamut, who gave Ardyn the Star Scourge to make him the scapegoat, while his own image Somnus is the one he favored, making his descendants cleanse the world. And saying all this thing about following your fate, well, all this DLC would have been against that fate and shaping a new world. And it sort of reminds me of how FF13-3 does it, you know, how 2 ends in a sad mood like 15, but then the sequel does a similar thing in reshaping the world and changing that fate, and that makes it so much more sadder that we never got to play this in gameplay form. I mean, an interesting fact, the writer for this novella that we learn about this 15 DLC actually wrote the FF13 novellas. And it's just crazy this was all planned out and was just cut by the higher ups. I mean, maybe it wouldn't have sold. It is a lot of DLC, but it's also reusing assets from 15. And I'm sure that would have been cheaper to make than a new game. You know, the game they made that flopped really hard. Even more crazy is that this second wave of DLC had a season pass that would have had a level editor and modding tools, allowing the game to live on forever with fans, to let them create Fortnite levels with Noctis and the crew, as Square's management rather that development time be put into Forspoken. A game, okay, maybe I really should try it out at some point. How bad could it be? I mean, personally, I'm super happy with what we got at least. Even just the Ardyn backstory being playable was really great to have. But yeah, imagine if they didn't do this alternate DLC and we just never heard about it. But now we have, it kind of makes it sting worse. Like we could have had all this in the game. It would have at least given Luna more screen time, a chance for us to care for her in some way, because there could have been a lot said when Noctis had to fight Luna, and also the happy ending. I guess this is where people hope in years time they announce a remake of this game where they'll add everything in, you know, it's all fixed up, a definitive version. But I don't know, with Square Enix you can never tell what they're gonna do with what seemingly the obvious answer is just right in front of them. You know, playing this game now and all the DLC, I got this weird feeling like, this kind of reminds me of FF7 Rebirth. You know, years before it came out. It too also had you going through sci-fi buildings, playing through many characters, an open world aspect, and that game probably has one of the best open worlds ever in a game. But it's like, I keep forgetting this game came out in 2016. And despite that, it's reminding me of these modern games, showing how advanced it felt at times, with how much stuff that was crammed in, to then how much stuff that was put in years later, fattening the chicken for us, then going, you're too full. Final Fantasy 15 is a very, very flawed game. From its long dev history, when now I'm rewatching these trailers, and there was so much more use of the NPCs, the other characters, like they were actually going to include the king's death in the game, and it looked so much different than the movie's cutscene, as in there were so many things left on the cutting room floor from development, even after the name change. To then what we got, and as much as it tried, it still had issues. You have the crux being two lovers wedding, a key plot point, but then in the base game, you don't really see them being lovers. Your main character doesn't even want to get married or elaborate on that. When the game goes out of its way to show Noctis having better chemistry with so many other characters, and even a collab one, he doesn't have that friendship with Luna that you would want to see in a fantasy game that you're rooting for. Think of the other Final Fantasies and how their romances are handled. Sure, the patches help, but this is a big misstep. To then how it performed at launch, the long loading times, the easier nature of the game trying to get newcomers in, the cut content sold to you months later, the promise and cancellation of more. There is so much wrong with this game. And yet, I don't care, Lamau. To me, this game represents change. Something that changed the industry. It sold very well. It had different kind of marketing for its story, split off into movies and anime. It's selling well. It's still influencing Square in their future games. With the recent big budget Final Fantasies, they pale in comparison to sales, and they're probably wondering, why isn't it selling like 15? A game which somehow made it over the finish line despite it all. A game which has one of the best gameplay gimmicks, making you care about 4 guys in a road trip, automatic photography, saving your memories on the fly, making you remember your journey you took by the end. And for me, this was a game which I played near the start of making YouTube videos. It is one of the first games I streamed entirely to 0 viewers. I made terrible, just terrible videos on it. No, they were good. No, I was ahead of my time. Because I had no idea what I wanted to do back then. I just knew I wanted to create. And this game was the perfect one to talk about. It spoke to me because I was not in the world of big Japanese gaming. I didn't know what JRPG stories and emotions this genre could have. And yet this game opened my eyes, because the year after, in 2017, I experienced one of the greatest years in video games for me. So many franchises that cemented themselves as my favorites, all because I played this game. And then I tried more and more, going back to the years to see what I missed, so many other Final Fantasies, and then finding my favorite one of all time in this very room that I am in right now. I don't know how much longer I'll be in this room, but I played this game knowing I didn't know what to expect back then, and I just loved every minute of it. I joined in on the hype. I was emotional in the aftermath, and now 9 years later, I feel even more strongly about this game. It is why I wanted to do this channel, reminding me why I wanted to make this in the first place, to make videos about games that I care about, putting all that time and effort into them, making it as in-depth as possible. Games that I may have talked about elsewhere, but now exploring every possible aspect about them with a fresh lens, putting so much work into these videos. Oh, why is this so long? All these ones that I was so passionate about, while also discovering more games I missed out during their releases. One more secrets as the dang PS3 hold. I swear, I'll stop making videos on PS3 games. I just keep coming back to it. I was kind of falling into the trap of picking up games that I thought would do well. You know, get 100k views, and I know that's always a very, very bad choice. Like, I actually had 2 different games I was working on before this, and scrapped both because I was thinking what people on the channel would want instead of what I would enjoy making. I legit bought a physical copy of Tales of Exilia and started it, but I felt nothing. I have no connection to this game. It's not doing anything new gameplay-wise to the 2 Tales ones I've played, to then a rite of passage that long video makers do. If you do a video on Shadow Hearts, you're guaranteed views. I don't know why, but every long video creator does it, and I tried. I really did, and determined I just don't enjoy that style of game. And I wouldn't be adding my own uniqueness to the sphere. I really just want to enjoy making the things I care about and not fall into the usual mistakes I've done of making videos on what I think people would want instead of what I want. This game. So making this video was kind of reminding me why I wanted to do this channel. The passion, reinvigorated, and it's why I love making videos. It's that personal touch that no one else can do. No one else in the world can have this experience on Final Fantasy 15 like I do. That 9-year-long journey at an end here. This game and how it affected me. A silly little goober who doesn't drink that much, and reinvigorated my love for this channel, as I loved this game at launch with all the bugs and issues. And now, it's an even better game. I can't believe it. They improved on it after all these years to an even greater height than my memory of it. All these patches, DLC, everything makes it a really great game. So thank you, Final Fantasy 15, for changing so much of my life. I will always look fondly on you and your stupid anime hair, that rich, expensive car I could never own, those damn cup noodles that don't really taste that good now that I've had them, the character designs that made me lose my mind, hype as heck summons and music, and just 4 bros enjoying the road trip together for one last time. But nah, it's a crap game, innit? And that's it from me. Video over. Oh my god, this took so long to write and make. It was tough to get my feelings out on this and so much work. So yeah, okay, I'm finally announcing it. I've launched a Patreon. And if you would like to support me in these passion-filled videos with comedy ? I don't know. My mom says I'm funny, so maybe you do too? You can find it in the description, but a free way is to click like and sub, you know, all those stuff. And I'll also be using my social media more. It's all linked down below. And until then, oh, he's gonna say it! I shall see you all on the next video.